Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new series called Random Reviews. This is a series where we're going to review the latest movies, TV shows, or video games for you. For our first episode, we are going to be reviewing, of course, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Jake, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I mean, what a first episode to this new series to review a 4-hour-long film. It's the perfect start, really, isn't it?
I think it is. It feels like a good time to start this. We should have maybe done it for Cyberpunk, but hey, we just started our podcast then.
Because we did like a 2-hour video just on Cyberpunk, pretty much, wasn't it? Episode 2.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to do sort of like a mini series just to review topics and not like just have general conversations. Otherwise, people might get bored of just like a same podcast talking about the same piece of media for too long.
Exactly. I think this is quite a nice way of doing it. You know, it's called Random Reviews, still on brand, and it'll just be about anything we want to review. It'll most likely just be new releasing things, but you never know. We might go back one week and review an old game or an old movie or something, and I think it'll be quite an interesting thing to do.
Yeah, that's very true. And we could always like review franchises if a new game comes out, or if it gets remastered or something, compare them. Or I don't know. It's new. It's changing. Who knows what it's going to be? But also, I mean, you gotta love the name, alliteration, right? Random reviews.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I do like it. I think it's some good branding here, Jake. Anyway, let's just get started into it. So, let's just get started into it. So this episode is going to be a review of Zack Snyder's Justice League, which released 2 weeks ago now.
I think so. That sounds about right. Yeah.
2 weeks ago now, from the time of recording this, which is crazy. I've seen it 3 times since. Jake?
Which is crazy. Yeah, that's like 12 hours. I've only seen it once, so you're going to be the master of this. But I think it was exactly 2 weeks ago, because I remember it coming out on like a Wednesday or a Thursday or something.
It was Thursday,
yeah.
It's Thursday now. How this podcast is going to kind of go is we're going to break the film down. We're going to go through it, maybe not scene by scene, but we're just going to talk about the big moments throughout, and just discuss it. And at the end, we'll obviously do a big overview and be like, this film was great, or this film was shit, or this film was a masterpiece. We don't know. You'll find that out at the end.
Exactly, yeah. And obviously we're going to do it in chronological order, not just random.
Yes.
Randoms,
yeah. So now we've got all that spiel out of the way. Spiel out of the way. Let's get into it. So, we start the film off in the prologue, and right from the get-go, it starts off at the end of Batman vs Superman.
Yes, with a really cool like camera going through like almost, well, like a moment paused in time. It looks like, doesn't it?
Yeah. So you see Superman, and he has the his, I guess it was Doomsday's like hand or like spear thing going through him. However he died, it was something like that.
Yeah, death.
And he is
impaling some form.
Yes, and he is screaming. He is in pain, and his shockwaves is going across the earth. Okay, this moment suddenly makes so much sense for a line that Lex Luthor says in Batman vs Superman.
It's like, why didn't they just include it in like the film if it made sense almost?
I know, right? Well, this is a big theme, is like through the difference between this and obviously the Justice League.
Yeah, I feel like I should really watch Justice, like the original Justice League before, so so I know the difference between the new scenes and the old scenes. Because at some point, just like, was that in the old one? I can't really remember.
Yeah, there's a couple scenes I remember being, but honestly, a lot of it is new. I think it was like 90% it was new or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, it makes sense because it was so much longer.
Yeah, I probably will watch Justice League, the original, at some point. But I have no desire right now.
No, I mean, why would you to watch that film when you have this new one, which is a lot better?
I'm going to watch this forever. Anyway. So yeah, the line that Lex Luthor says in Batman vs Superman is about like the bells are ringing or something, and like they're awakening the thing. They're awakening something. It was something along those lines. I can't remember the exact.
Yeah, I can't remember either. Yeah.
But here, you see Superman crying out and screaming. And those screams are going across the earth, and you see them hitting each of the mother boxes, right? So you can see them go to Atlantis, Nemaskara, right?
I can't remember the name of the island now.
I'm pretty sure it's Nemaskara. I'm going to look like an idiot if it's not.
Yeah.
And you see it at Nemaskara that the mother box there suddenly awakens. As soon as the Superman's cry goes past it.
Yeah, you also see Cyborg clutching a mother box, don't you, as well?
That's right, obviously, yeah. But it's only the one in Namaskara that awakens first, which is interesting.
Yeah, I don't really understand that, but I mean, that's when the film kind of begins, isn't it?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so it opens there. And that's basically the start. This opening was hit so hard. Like, I was not expecting that moment to be right at the beginning. That just slow-mo of seeing Superman in pain and crying was something you never really see.
No, it was good.
It was tough to watch at certain points. I feel like I don't know what it was about it. It was weird.
Yeah, it's kind
it
of
wasn't something you usually see.
Yeah,
it was hard hitting. Anyway, after that, you have Bruce. And Bruce shows up and he's like going through these snowy areas. He's climbing. He's climbing some mountains.
He's climbing some mountains. Yeah, it looks like somewhere northern, like Iceland or Greenland or Scandinavia. Oh, is it Iceland?
It's Iceland.
Nice.
It's Iceland. Well, they speak Icelandic, so
that makes sense. Yeah.
In a minute. So he's in Iceland or someplace, and he is looking for this legend of a man who comes out to the sea and gives fish to the village folk during the winter.
What a nice guy, yeah.
What a nice lad. And you suddenly starts walking down to this little tavern, like a hut. And that's when you get part 1.
Don't count on it, Batman.
Don't count on it, Batman. Jake beat me to it.
I was about to say I got there just before you did it.
You...
I'll let you have the next one.
Thank you. I guess you have these written down or something.
No, I just remembered that, to be fair.
Alright, fine. Whatever. Yeah. And Bruce meets Arthur Curry. And basically Bruce is there just trying to convince him to join his team and help him out on a mysterious foe that is yet to come. They don't know who it is. We do.
Exactly.
But they don't.
He tries to bribe him, doesn't he, almost?
He does, and this is just an absolute power move.
I thought it was quite funny, almost, yeah.
Arthur is, like, super strong. Like, Arthur is, like, as strong as Superman if he's underwater, right? You know?
Yes, yeah. Sorry, I thought you were going to continue with that thought. You just kind of stopped. I was like, oh, yep.
Yeah, so Aquaman, like, when he's underwater, he is stronger than Superman.
Yes, I mean, it's his, like, domain, isn't it? Yeah.
Exactly. It's like his solar rays, his yellow sun. It's just water. When he's out of water, he's still super strong. I mean, it's fucking Jason Momoa. Like,
He's strong without the powers, come on.
Exactly. So, he's holding up Bruce, and Bruce just, brings out this wad of cash, and it's like, 5 minutes or whatever, 5 minutes talk. That was a power move.
Yeah, I was like, I'll give you $20,000.
It was cool. So yeah, you had that, and then you had and then you went to them going outside and having a conversation. I like they didn't actually show the conversation because I think they did in the original, and it was a bit, okay.
Yeah, it was
I don't need to see this.
Bit on the nose,
yeah. You just all you got was like the perfect line of Arthur being like, so you just dress up as a bat, and being like so like thinking it's hilarious. Which, if you think about it, it actually is.
It is pretty. Yeah, his superpower is money. Let's be real.
Yeah. Taking that line from later, I see.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
I think you did. Okay, but yeah. I think obviously then Arthur is like, nah, and he just jumps off into the sea majestically.
Harriet takes his top off and everything. Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely. And you have these women singing some strange Icelandic song.
Yeah, something native. Yeah,
it was interesting. And then this woman sniffed his jumper.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. I mean, yeah, I get. We all want to do that, but okay.
Yeah, well, you do, but like, come on, have some restraint. It was interesting. And then he obviously did a sick dive into the ocean. And
hell yeah, it's classic fish dolphin dive. Yeah,
it was very cool. And then we had some heartbreaking scenes. So, Martha is in mourning for her son, Clark Kent, obviously. And Martha's at his grave. And this scene was sad.
It was, yeah.
There was a lot of these moments throughout the film of just like grief, especially when it comes to the lowest scenes, which we'll talk about in a bit.
Yeah, I think the pacing was really good in terms of these scenes that were kind of just, put in there and emotional and sad,
I agree. I really agree. Yeah. And you notice that there's a for sale sign on the farm.
Exactly, yeah. And you're like, oh, that's just sad.
Yeah, obviously, we'll find out later that she can't pay her bills anymore and she has to sell the farm, which is so sad. And because that's Clark's home, that's Martha's home, that's Jonathan's home for years. And now she has to move. And she loses that, like, I guess, last connection she has with her son.
That's what I was going to say as well. It's like you lose your son and then you lose, like, the place you most associate your son with.
Yeah, and that's a really heartbreaking thing to think about. And, yeah, I found that really really sad. And then to make things worse, you then go to Lois.
Yes.
Who is then also going through her own, like, stages of grief. And obviously, Lois is in New York. Oh, no.
Gotham City.
She's in Metropolis.
Oh, right, yes. Sorry, yeah.
Which is basically New York. It's like DC's New York.
Yes.
Which is freaking ages away from Kansas, right? Which is obviously where the farm is. So she can't go to Clark Kent's grave every day. She can't spend her time mourning at Clark Kent's body. So the next best thing she has is the memorial for Superman. And we see her, she goes to a coffee shop, she picks up 2 coffees, which is interesting, and then she walks down to the memorial. And something we see is she talks to this police officer.
Yes, I was going to mention the police officer, yeah.
Well, you go for it.
Well, I mean, yeah, he was there, almost just looked like he was guarding the memorial, it looked like, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, yeah, you have the police officer there, and Lois hands the coffee to him, and he's like, oh, you never miss a day, do you? And Lois is like, I like it here. And just those 2 lines just made you know that this is a ritual for her. This is a morning ritual that she does every day. And that isn't something you got in the original. In the original, there was that line wasn't in there. So she just showed up with 2 coffees, gave it to the man, and you didn't realise this was a thing she did all the time. You just thought, it's just a one-off.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense for her to say, otherwise the audience is like, okay, this is a bit weird. I mean, why so long after his death? Why not like the day after or something like that almost? But then you'll see in the Zack Snyder's cut, a lot more stuff starts to make sense almost with edited lines and that.
Yeah, that line was really nice. The fact, she's obviously going through this stage of mourning, obviously, and she has to still be with him. And where's the closest place for that? The Superman Memorial. Another thing I noticed, and once I noticed that, like, it crushed my heart, is she was wearing the engagement ring.
Yes, that was mentioned later on in the film, wasn't it, as well? Yeah,
and, like, it's so sad to think that in the end of Batman vs. Superman, she obviously got that ring in the letter after he died. And that's just like a punch to the heart.
Exactly. It's like, gee, thanks for reminding me of like what could have been almost.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, because she wears that ring, she's still thinking about what could have been. She's still thinking about the future she should have had. And it's crushing to see.
Yeah, she's not moving on anytime soon, that's for sure.
Absolutely not. And I feel like she shouldn't have to yet. She went through a lot. God, no. And she is, in a lot of grief and a lot of mourning, and she deserves her time.
Mm.
But she does need to move on with her life, in a way. And it's going to be difficult for her. The next thing you see is you go to London. And it's a really nice panning shot down. And you look at Tower Bridge.
Yeah.
And there's the Superman logo. Superman is, what is it? A crest? I don't freaking know.
I would call it a crest, like the S, yeah.
The crest. And it just shows that the whole world is in mourning for this icon. In many ways, a god. A lot of people saw Superman as a god, as a Jesus figure. I mean, you watch Man of Steel, and like the Jesus iconography there is so there's so much of it. Like you have Superman standing in a bloody cross at one point.
It's a bit on the nose.
It's kind of the point of it, because like some people do see him as the Messiah.
And that was obviously later on in the film when Clark Kent's mum was like, people just saw him as a symbol, they didn't really know him. Which again obviously shows that he was like a worldwide symbol that of like hope and bravery almost.
Yeah. And the world is mourning. And then you have these fellas, and they're going into this place. I can't decide if it's a museum or a courthouse or an art gallery.
Yeah, it's just some sort of big old building, isn't it, in London?
It's a place that children would go on a school trip for.
Yeah.
And it could be any of those three. So these men go in, they have the most tailored suits and tailored gloves and the nicest clothes I've ever seen.
Hell yeah.
They're very professional. They walk in, they take control of it. And then they decide to kill themselves by blowing the place up.
Exactly.
Before they can do this, though, one and only Diana Prince rushes in.
Yeah, I really liked this scene, yeah. Because obviously they put all the bomb vests on all the school children, didn't they?
Yeah. This moment was this was a cool moment, and it was I really liked it as a Wonder Woman scene. She comes in, and she I thought it was obviously she's outside first in the statue or whatever, and then she comes to it. Yeah. I thought it was a really nice intro of the character for this film.
Exactly. I mean, it showed all her powers almost. It showed the lasso and the bit when the bad guy sprayed the bullets into the crowd and she blocked all of them. I mean, that was I was gonna say that's got to be in the top 5 scenes of the film. That was a brilliant scene.
It was really cool. I mean, she could have done it an easier way, but I loved it.
Yeah.
I love a lot. Yeah, a lot of people are complaining with the amount of slow motion in this film, but I have to say, I actually loved most of it, if not all of it.
Yeah, I absolutely adored that scene.
Yeah, it was really cool. And the way she moves is so it's not inhuman, but it's almost stretching on the boundary. You know what I mean? Because she's descendant from a god, right?
Yeah,
she's a descendant from, I think, Zeus, right?
I can't remember. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah, because it's Zeus's secret weapon, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Weapon, and she's 5,000 years old. So she's a superhuman, and she moves in this just really incredible way that's ducking and sliding and super fast.
I was going to say
it looks really cool.
Yeah, really low to the ground, sorry, and really fast and agile.
Yeah, it's really nice, and it's so different from the other characters. So she stops this. She throws the bomb out. She flies up and throws it. This may be the only main slow motion criticism I had. That moment lasted maybe a second, 2 seconds too long.
Just went on a bit too long.
It she threw it up and then it just stayed there for 3 seconds, I swear.
I don't necessarily remember that, so yeah, but I mean you've seen it 3 times, so
yeah, but she
3
took
seconds
the bomb.
Does seem a bit excessive though. It's you threw it up and yeah, we get it.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel they could have just had her throw it up. And maybe maybe hold it for a second, and then it gone off.
3 seconds is quite a long time when you're just watching the same, like, really slow image, at least.
It was, to be fair. And then she came down, and obviously the man was like, had his AK or whatever the frick it was. M4, I think it might have been. M16. And shot everyone. Obviously, he did it like on manual first, and just did one shot, and she blocked it, and then switched it to the full auto, which is quite cool. And yeah, this moment was incredible when she just went like and blocked it all, and then obviously did like whatever you do with when she does it with her arms and makes the big blast.
Yeah, the blast thing. Yeah, has
which
it got a name?
I don't remember, but this I feel like she killed that guy.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, his hat lands on top of the police guy's car. Yeah. That's almost like a clear sign the person's dead.
It's a bit risky, and like I feel like all that rubble had to hit some civilians on the ground. You know what I mean?
It's fine. She looked cool.
Yeah. Okay. I like picking out the problems in things. That might be one beef I have. I feel like.
Fair enough. I understand that. Yeah.
But
it's
after
like the classic, like, oh yeah, Batman doesn't kill anybody, but he does disable them for life.
Yeah, true. And then obviously Diana, being the incredible woman she is, she checks on everyone and checks everyone's okay. And then just this one girl, and she sat down and she's like a bit unsure, a bit nervous. And Diana, a literal princess, says to this little girl, "You okay, princess?" That line was incredible. Like, there's just something about it that was so nice. And then the girl obviously says, "Can I be like you one day?" And Diana answers as like, "You can be anything you want to be."
Yeah, it was really sweet. It was really calming almost after that chaos almost of events.
Yeah, I really like that moment. A lot of people are going out there and saying, "Well, obviously she can't. She's not a God descendant from God." And
exactly.
I'm like, you're missing the point, though, aren't you?
It's a nice
you're
conclusion
missing the
to that
point.
scene. Yeah.
It's not. She's not necessarily being like, "You can be what I do." She's saying you can have the same morals and same ethics I have, and help people. Maybe not in the same way I do, because the girl will grow up and understand she can't fight, do things she does.
Of course, block bullets. Yeah,
you know what I mean. She'll know that as she grows up, but she'll still, from this lesson, she will know that she can still do what she wants to do and still can do anything she wants to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
In any profession, in any career, whether it be in helping people, you can help people in other ways, you know? And I love that message that she sent. I love that. And that's why, one of the reasons I like Diana Prince in this film quite a lot.
Yeah, I mean, she's a great character. She's got great morals and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it was really nice. And then you cut to Namaskara.
Yes, yeah.
The mother box is awakened. What's happening?
Dun, dun, dun.
I don't know. All these Amazonians.
Amazons?
No.
Amazons?
Amazon. One of them. All the Amazons. I'm going to say Amazons. It's easier.
Yeah, true. I think they're Amazonians. That does sound familiar, but...
Amazonians. Fuck it. Go Amazonians. All these Amazonians, they're standing around the mother box, all aimed and drawn with their bows and swords and spears, waiting. And then it suddenly goes to sleep.
Yeah, because they don't know what's happening, that's for sure.
They do not. The queen is like, evil never sleeps. It only waits or something like that.
It only waits, yeah, that sounds right.
Which is a really nice line, I liked that. And suddenly it opens up again and it all goes crazy. And basically what happens here is Steppenwolf, the main villain of this film, hears it's cool.
Yeah.
And he appears...
through the beam of light from the sky.
That's right. Yeah. And as this happens, all the Amazonians get knocked back and obviously have to restudy themselves. Then what happens is a really cool action sequence, I thought.
Oh yeah, I mean, this was a good scene back to back with the Diana one.
It was nice. It was really cool. Obviously, they're trying to get this mother box away from Steppenwolf because they have been guarding this mother box for 5,000 years, and they've done it well, and they've learned how to do it. So they don't want this thing to get in the wrong hands, and Steppenwolf is for sure the wrong hands. So obviously, a lot of people get injured, a lot of people get knocked down, and eventually one of the Amazonians says, seal it or something like that. Take the mother box and seal it. And the Queen has to make a difficult choice here. A very hard call. She has to obviously seal... She has to take the mother box and seal Steppenwolf in this thing as she escapes. But Steppenwolf isn't the only one that gets sealed in. Also, all the other Amazonians are going to be trapped in there as well.
Yeah, there was loads of them in there as well.
There were at least like 70.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, it just shows how loyal they are to the Queen and how like they're willing to sacrifice themselves.
Absolutely. And you have to remember, like, these are Amazonians. They don't make more of them.
No,
That's
God,
it.
no.
5,000 years ago, they were a gift from God. Like, that's as like high as you can get. They're a literal gift from God, and they've known each other for 5,000 years or whatever it's been. They're going to be like a family, you know? She will know every single person's name. And, you know, losing, like, this is like, isn't like a normal army of losing soldiers, like, where you can just get them back. Once they're gone, they're gone. You can't get more Amazonians.
Exactly.
So, you know, she has to make this call, and she takes it. She has a thought first, but then she realizes it's the right thing to do. It's what she has to do.
Yeah.
Runs out. She's like, "Ready the hammers!" And knocks these hench women knock these stone pillars out, and obviously the things fall.
Yeah, the door slowly closes. There's like 3 of them or something.
Yeah, and you have to hold it. One beef. I feel like the girls could have come out when they held the door
At
up.
the very
they could have
end.
maybe come out.
Yeah, that's what I thought. They like held the door open for the Queen at the end, and they went back inside the building.
Yeah.
I was like, why don't you just go on the other side?
They could have positioned themselves differently to be able to come out, but
Yeah.
hey.
I was like, you know what? You do you, I guess. It's your life sacrifice.
Yeah, whatever. But that was interesting. And then she just takes, as the whole thing falls down, she takes a moment to look, and she's grieving.
Of course. I mean, she's lost like 70 odd of her family.
Yeah, she's mourning these people, and she's definitely got some sort of regret.
Of course, yeah. I mean, it was her choice at the end of the day that caused them.
Yeah. She knows it's the right thing to do and what she had to do, but there is regret, there is grief, and she just stands there. And then all the parademons and Steppenwolf all jump out.
Exactly. And it was like, well, that was a waste.
Absolutely. And that crushes you even more. And then she's obviously riding off with the mother box and, like, you know, trying to get it away.
Yeah, this is a really cool scene.
She gives the mother box to another Amazonian and says, "Protect with your life." And, you know, so the Queen's off with it. And now Steppenwolf comes, and he's trying to get the mother box. And it's a really cool sequence with, like, the horses going and Steppenwolf taking the Amazonians out and the horses as well. And the Amazonians, like, throwing their lassos and trying to get
launching it with the
thing
mother box.
back.
Yeah.
Trying to get the mother box back. And, like, you know, it was a really cool moment where, like, they threw the arrow, they tied a rope around it and then shot it like
that's
an
what I was
arrow
gonna
away.
say. I thought that was really clever. I was like, yeah,
that was
fair enough.
nice. That was really cool. And and obviously the Steppenwolf completely destroyed that woman who shot the arrow.
Of course, there's like sliced in half, decapitated. Like, every one of those died a brutal death, pretty much.
It was tough, yeah. Like, if you look at by frame at that moment, like, she is filled with electric before the axe even hits her.
Jesus.
Like, that's how powerful that weapon is. Yeah, there was one moment in this scene that every time I watched it, I just noticed, is when one of the women pulls the arrow back on her bow.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, it's weird because the back of the bow moves back, but the front of the arrow doesn't move back for like a second.
Oh no, does the arrow look like it stretch or something, or just stay there?
Yeah, the arrow like stretches and then it moves back, and it really bolted my brain like the 3 times I watched it.
Yeah, you're like, hang on a second. Barely noticed it the first time, then really obvious all the other ones.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. That's funny, but silly little mistakes, isn't it? Yes, eventually, unfortunately, Steppenwolf gets the mother box, and he has it in his hand, and suddenly you have this entourage of hundreds, thousands of Amazonians coming over this hill,
pretty much
all
the rest
charging,
of them, wasn't it? Yeah,
all of them, bows drawn, swords out, charging down, and they all go loose and fire their arrows at Steppenwolf, and before anything even hits him, he just teleports away.
I thought a few of them hit him, but they just literally stick in his arm, and when he teleports away, he like literally shakes them off like quills almost.
Yeah, maybe they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was still cool. He just like teleported away with the mother box.
It was like, well, too late now.
Steppenwolf has 1 out of 3.
Exactly.
Of the mother boxes.
So far, not going great for everyone else.
It's not. And the bad thing is, the Amazonians are the ones who protected it the best.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the humans just buried it in the ground.
Yeah.
The Atlanteans put it on a pedestal in the ocean. I mean, to be fair, the Amazonians pretty much just put it on a pedestal in like a Colosseum type of building. Like, I feel like
they had guards.
Yeah, but I feel like there's a better way to do it almost. You know?
You think, especially after 5,000 years of having it.
Exactly, they would have thought of a better thing just to put in like a stone building on like a stone block.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. If you think about the 3 people who had a mother box, is men would have just forgotten after a generation.
Yeah, I mean,
it would become this legend. Yeah, it's what happened. It would just become a legend of like, and then eventually just completely forgotten. Like all the 1,000 other things men have forgotten in 5,000 years. Atlanteans would have had like a few generations. 5,000 years, they'd have had a good few generations. They wouldn't have forgotten it,
yeah.
But it'd be like a legend now. You know what I mean? It wouldn't necessarily be a thing they worry about.
I mean, yeah, true, yeah. I mean, it's a legend that somebody's come for it, but obviously they had it, like they knew where it was almost, and they knew it was protected, kind of.
Yeah. The Amazonians were literally there.
Yeah, I mean...
like, so they know still. They were there at the original war. So they still protect it the best, and they still guard it and hold it to what it should be.
Yeah, I mean,
and after this happened...
Yeah, Steppenwolf did the hardest mother box to get first, really, didn't he?
Well, that's the first one that called out to him.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Which is interesting. But yeah, after this happens, the queen is like, okay, it's time to light the ancient warning fire.
Yes, yeah.
And the other woman's like, men won't know what it is now, or whatever. She will. Obviously, that's Diana.
Yeah, I wonder who that is. Yeah, exactly.
Really nice moment. And that actually made sense to what that is. One thing that happens I completely forgot to talk about is when they're inside guarding the mother box, the sickest and most badass line happens where she's like, show them your fear! We have no fear!
Yeah, exactly. Shout it back. I forgot about that, yeah.
That was a cool line. I loved that moment. I got chills every time. Chills.
It just showed like the dedication and like they've been training all their life and that.
Absolutely. But anyway, that is then the end of part 1.
Exactly.
Then we move on to part 2, The Age of Heroes. And this one starts off with Steppenwolf placing the mother box in this place that he's at, in his base.
Yeah, this like Chernobyl looking building almost.
It's DC's Chernobyl, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Basically. But yeah, he's there. And that's basically all that scene is. And then it goes to Bruce. And he's trying to still find Barry Allen and Victor Stone, the Flash and Cyborg. These 2 other people that it was in this like file from LexCorp in the MetaHuman
just
thing.
Some other like
Superman.
some other people with superpowers just to help.
Yeah,
he's desperate. He needs anyone.
Absolutely, he's basically working off the promise he gave Clark right at the end, to form a team to help save the world to this threat that is coming, but they still don't know what it is. But that's that.
Yeah.
You then go to Star Labs.
Ah, yes, of course, yeah.
which
Not
was
where
really
Barry
cool.
Allen works.
Well, not yet. At the crash site of the Kryptonian ship, and you have this man, and he's leaving, and obviously talks to Ryan Chow.
What a
Right?
name. I can't remember his name. He's very
Ryan
quite
Chow?
forgettable, to be honest.
Ryan Chow.
Some other scientist there.
He becomes the Atom in DC Comics.
Ah, does he?
He does.
Because
There's two.
obviously-
Yeah, sorry.
Obviously, at the end of the film, he becomes like the primary owner and like the primary researcher of like
He
Star
does,
Labs,
yeah.
doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool, right?
So that makes sense.
Yeah. And here's another thing: Zack Snyder had an Atom film planned.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they're eventually going to build off this character and create an Atom film, which would have been so cool, and it was going to be like all Asian cast kind of thing.
That would have been cool. Yeah.
You know, all Asian director, that kind of thing, which is really nice. Yeah, and he's like the military guy comes in or whatever, and he's like, "You work," and he's like, "Oh, we work on xenoscience," which I really liked. It's a cool name because
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I guess the proper title would be astrobiology, but xenoscience does sound cooler.
I quite like it because like xenophobia is the phobia of foreign people.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So like xeno is like foreign, so like extraterrestrial. It could be. I thought it was quite a nice name. Anyway, what happens then is obviously all the scientists go out and he's just left the janitor, and suddenly we have some parademons and they attack the lab.
They do, because they can smell the mother box. There's something going on there.
The scent.
The scent, yeah.
And obviously, you see an empty box, but we don't know if they've taken it yet or what's going on.
No, because you don't even see inside the box, don't you? You just kind of see, well, yeah, just a box.
Yeah, an empty box. It's definitely been like opened up.
'Cause you're like,
and that's basically
have the parademons got it, or what?
that's basically that. Yeah, exactly. After that, you go back to Nemaskara where they are lighting the warning fires, and she takes an arrow of Artemis, which was really cool. And it explains why it's so magical now, and explains why it can go halfway across the world.
Yeah, and burns for so long out of nothing.
Exactly. And she shoots it, and she's like, "Return to me, Diana," which is a really nice line, I thought.
Yeah, just in case you didn't get
basically-
it before that, who she was planning to get attention with the
Yeah,
arrow.
I feel like that was more for the Queen. It was more like, her trying to tell the arrow what it needs to do, and like, her wishes, because I mean that's her daughter.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Basically. So she wants her back, and I thought it was quite a nice bit. And obviously then you go to Diana, and she's in the loos.
Yes, yeah, doing an architect, like sculpting stuff almost.
Yeah, and she's
Not
just like
architect,
a
sorry,
freaking.
archaeologist.
She's just incredible in everything she does. She's creating art sculptures. She what? But and then she recognizes the fire on the news and is like, oh
Yeah, she's like, wait, hang on a second.
what's going on? And then she goes to the tomb. I thought there's a scene in between there, but I haven't got notes, so it mustn't have been that important.
No, yeah, I think that is it. Yeah, because I know she goes to the tomb and then she like jumps down and uses that arrow, doesn't she? She takes it from the Colosseum and uses it as a key to get inside this like underground temple almost.
Yeah. And in there, it's like, obviously it's like ancient, like from thousands and thousands of years ago.
Yeah,
It's basically a prophecy of what's to come.
Was it a prophecy or was it just the like telling of the last events with the mother box? It's like when they actually first came to Earth.
Oh, I don't know. I saw it as a prophecy, but it could have been the old legend story as well.
Yeah, it could have been either one. Yeah,
I thought it was a prophecy because I know. I thought it was like a prophecy of obviously the Unity, because the Unity happened in it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it happened in the film. To be fair, yeah, the Unity didn't happen
Exactly.
the first time, did it? Yeah.
No, but it did happen here. So I thought it was like a prophecy because it has the cubes and they come together to form the Unity. And then it has got like the Nightmare Realm, which obviously is what happens later in the film. So that was really nice. Yeah. And then you go back to Iceland.
Yes, so we know some Aquaman's due.
Of course, it's been a while since we've seen that fella. Yeah, he's basically saving someone from a storm, and he's like, next time tell him to respect the storm or something.
Yeah,
like
respect
that.
the storm.
Really.
And then
cool,
he's like, the whiskey's on him.
Yeah, which was really cool again.
Where did that go from? I can't remember after that. Like, why was that relevant almost?
So then he just goes down into the water, and you see him going to his father's. I think it's his father's grave.
Oh, of course, yeah, because he walks across the causeway, and then like the massive waves are coming, and that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
really cool, really cool music there.
Yeah, it's almost like slow motion again, wasn't it?
Yeah, really cool moment. And then he goes down. I think it's his father's grave because like there's a body there, and his father's trident is there.
Exactly, yeah.
I think that's his grave. I don't remember the Aquaman movie much, so I might be wrong. But I feel like that moment's there to signify he doesn't want to forget about his family. He's obviously still very connected to his family.
Of course, yeah.
And then Willem Dafoe shows up.
Green Goblin.
Name. That's right.
Yeah.
And he basically wants Arthur to take the throne and come back and take up your mother's trident.
Yeah, like, hey, it is your heirs to the throne and that.
Yeah, which was really nice. That makes sense. Obviously, they made their big water bubble.
Yeah, I was like, why are they doing the water bubble? It's like, oh yeah, of course they can't really talk underwater, can they?
I think the whole lore behind it is when they're underwater, it means the water can't hear them speak.
Oh, I see. Because I was about to say, if they can speak to like dolphins out there, surely they can communicate with each other through echolocation and that. So that would make sense, to be fair.
I think if they speak underwater, it means other Atlanteans and other people underwater can hear their conversation in a way. So I think they do that whole water thing so that it's like a private conversation. It's like going into a PM.
That makes sense, yeah. That's quite funny.
Which I think that's what it means. That's what I get from it, at least.
Yeah, it's probably like a sign of respect as well for each other.
Yeah, maybe. That's quite a nice thing.
That's quite cool. I didn't think about that properly.
Yeah. I've watched it 3 times though, so
that's
I've obviously picked up more things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after that, Steppenwolf goes back to Chernobyl.
Chernobyl.
And he's talking to Desard?
I can't remember this guy's name. No.
I think it's Desard. And he's like wanting to go back home after his mission. So he's obviously been like exiled or whatever, or like forced to go on this mission before he can come back or something.
Yeah, well, he's like, I'm not sure if he's forced to go on the mission, but he wants to, at least to repay his debt, he says, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that might be it. Because he betrayed them or something.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll ever find out what happens, or what happened, rather.
Probably not.
No.
And then a really interesting line happens where he's like, this Earth is vulnerable. They have no protectors, no guardians, no lanterns, no Kryptonian. This world will fall like the others.
Exactly,
or Darkseid.
And it goes to show that he fears lanterns and Kryptonians the most, if he didn't even mention the Amazonians.
Yeah, this line makes a lot more sense for other things, like why the mother boxes didn't open till now. Like, the thing that opened the mother box was the death of Superman.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Superman's cry of him dying opened the mother box. And they talk about this later, like, the mother boxes were scared of Superman. They knew that nothing would, like, it wouldn't work if they had a Kryptonian on this world.
I mean, later in the film we see with Cyborg, don't we?
Well, yeah. That line kind of helps with that in a way. There's no lantern. There should be a lantern, but there's no lantern, no Kryptonian. This world will fall. I like that line a lot. And then it went to Diana and Bruce.
Yeah, so they've kind of met up, haven't they?
Yeah.
And then some exposition happens.
Diana's obviously found out about the prophecy and also the history, and she's telling Bruce about what is coming, because now she knows that it's Darkseid. She now knows it's Steppenwolf. So she knows she knows to tell the ancient story to Bruce. And this is a really nice scene. I loved this scene.
It is. It's not like one of those generic like exposition scenes where it breaks the pace of the film almost just to tell you what's happening and catch the viewer up. It was it was done really well.
Thing. Yeah. It was this full thing. Yeah, so obviously it told the story of what happened ages ago, the first time Darkseid came to take over the Unity, or create Unity, or whatever. Take Earth.
Was it?
Um,
Darkseid. Sorry. Yes. Yeah.
yeah, and you had Atlanteans, you had men, you had Amazons, you had the old gods, you had a lantern, all fighting as one.
Yeah. I
Which
mean, the
was
lantern isn't there for
awesome.
very long, though, is he?
No. But it was really cool. Like, they were all fighting as one. Not as friends, but because they had to. Even though they were enemies,
yeah.
they all came together and fought, which is really nice.
They set their differences aside for everyone.
Absolutely. It was a really cool fight. You saw Zeus, Ares, Artemis, which was really cool.
Saw Poseidon too, I think, at one point.
But did you? I thought it was just an Atlantean.
That's true, yeah. Yeah, to be fair, Poseidon and Atlanteans are very similar, both with their tridents.
Aquaman is basically Poseidon.
Yeah, let's be real.
But yeah. And they all fought as one. And then you saw this lantern. It was so cool that we finally get to see a lantern. At least we got one lantern in Justice League. But unfortunately, he did get done in, and he got killed. His hand got chopped off, and it was really cool though because we actually saw the ring fly off, and obviously fly off to the next protector.
Yeah, because I mean, Darkseid was going to grab it, wasn't he? But it flew off just before, or like maybe not Darkseid, but one of the bad guys at least. Oh, it was actually Darkseid. Nice.
Which is really cool because obviously that's the law with what happens with the lanterns. Is after they die, the ring gets passed on to the next lantern, the next protector.
Yeah.
And I wonder who that was because it's weird that this this system, because obviously each solar system, or each star system, has a different lantern, right? Or each sector has a different lantern.
Yeah. So I don't know much about Lantern. I've never seen Green Lantern because I haven't heard very good things from it.
Oh wow, that's bad. But yeah, so each sector or star system, I can't remember, I think it's just sector, has a different lantern. So I wonder where this lantern is during this time of crisis. Like, where's Hal Jordan at?
Where's Ryan Reynolds playing Green Lantern?
Exactly. That's what we need. We need Ryan Reynolds back for Zack Snyder Justice League.
Deadpool with
extended cut.
Deadpool, yeah.
Oh, that'd be brilliant. Yeah, that was nice. And then all of them fought together so well that they actually made Darkseid run away.
Literally, he didn't even come back for the mother boxes.
Which was cool. And obviously, yes, they're left with the mother boxes. And they said, Diana's like, the mother boxes went weak, like dogs without their masters.
Yes,
which is quite cool. And they got spread between Atlanteans, men, and Amazons, the defenders of Earth. And like I said, obviously, like, you know, men just forgot about it. Atlanteans had a few generations, so, you know, they know about it, but they weren't, like, all crazy about it.
No, they would just kind of put it there and forget about it.
Exactly. And the Amazons, you know, actually were there, so, you know, they remember it.
Yeah, of course. It's the same people, yeah.
And it was cool, because they all, like, use their own rituals, like, you know, protect it, which I quite like.
Yeah. I also really enjoyed the scene when obviously all the ships were fleeing, and with the 4:3 ratio, with the ships in the sky and all like the Earth defenders in the foreground. I really like that scene, the visuals of it. Yeah,
the visuals are beautiful. Like, some CGI was a bit off, but like I feel like it was there. It was really nice.
Yeah, definitely.
And then that ends part 2.
Exactly. Yeah, with all the mother boxes left and hidden / protected away. In the past, yeah.
Yeah, and then we went to part 3, Beloved Mother, Beloved Son.
Yes, yeah.
And then it went into one of my favourite scenes in the whole film. This scene was beautiful. It panned down on a sign that said Central City, and instantly I was like so excited. I was like, oh, it's gonna be Flash. It's Barry Allen time. Let's go. And I was like,
this scene was not in the original at all, was it?
It was not. I was ready. As soon as I saw that Central City, I was like, yeah, it's my boys' time. Let's go. Barry Allen runs into this pet shop, and he's late, of course. That is so on character for Barry Allen. And that's one of my favourite things about Barry Allen. The fact that he has super speed, but is still always late. It's just hilarious.
Yeah.
He's running in late, and suddenly he bumps into this woman. Hello? This woman? Hi. And obviously he's like he's like, I'm late, I'm going to be late. And then he just, you know, exchange this look of... They're both taken back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, hey, I think you're pretty cute. Almost look.
It's love at first sight because obviously this woman is Iris West. You know?
Yeah, I didn't make the connection.
This woman's Iris West, and you know they look at each other with love at first sight, and it is a beautiful moment. And then obviously Barry goes in and is like, "I'm so sorry." He has the resume and does a hilarious like French like. Did you know there is a word resume came from
and it's
the
all
French
like
or
crumpled
something?
in his pocket.
Yeah, perfect Barry Allen. It's perfectly written.
Nailed his character. Yeah,
Absolutely. And you know, suddenly this big truck is coming down the road, and he's distracted because he dropped his burger.
yeah, between like his pedals and that. God, it was
Well done.
I don't even know.
Oh, what an idiot! And obviously, Iris is in her car, the coolest car I've ever seen.
It was nice. Yeah,
Really nice car. And I mean, she's driving, and then she gets distracted because Barry's there. For fuck's sake, Iris!
looking at each other through the window. Yeah.
Yeah. And then suddenly the truck kind of runs and Iris gets rammed into the back of it.
Ouch.
And her car just goes up, and then suddenly Barry kicks into like the super speed where he's like,
Yeah,
and
smashes
the
through
whole
the glass.
the whole world stops. And suddenly you hear a couple notes to what is now probably one of my favorite songs ever. And it's like, dun, dun. Beautiful song, and Barry starts moving, and he just puts his finger on the glass, and it's like liquid.
It is
like
really weird at first, yeah. Because
it was
like
cool.
His shoes just disintegrate as well, don't they?
Oh yeah, of course they do. I forgot about that. His shoes disintegrate. It's going so fast that I've never seen super speed like this.
No, with the lightning, the speed force around him, and that.
And I love it.
I
love it.
Yeah.
It's my favorite super speed scene in everything, in anything. It's incredible.
So far.
It goes to that glass. So far, it goes to that glass, and it's like liquid, and then it shatters, and it just like moves through. It's not like he's going crazy running, and that's what I liked about it. He isn't like sprinting or anything. He's just doing a casual jog.
Yeah, it's like nothing, like not difficult for him at all, really.
Yeah, and that was quite cool. And obviously goes to Iris, and he moves her hair out of the way and just sees her face and admires her. And it was, my heart was like crumbling because I know what their lives are going to lead to.
Yeah.
I know they're going to fall in love. I know they're going to get married, and they're going to be happy ever after. You know what I mean? Like, that is Barry and Iris, the perfect couple.
Yeah, I didn't even associate her as Iris at first. At first I was like, this is a bit weird, just him looking at her while she's like just flying through the air.
Fair enough. I mean, it's kind of what Barry and Iris are like, having this thing. And then the best thing, he just gets distracted by this hot dog.
Yeah,
he looks at it, and he's just like like chuckling to himself, like all happy and with himself, and he pockets it, which was a perfect moment. It completely separated it from this like romantic, like thing, and it was incredibly done. I really liked that.
Yeah, it was a good scene. It was a great intro to the character. Really showed off his powers and that.
Absolutely. And then he just sets Iris down on the ground really, really gently, and beautifully. And then everything goes back into full motion, and everything blows up. Yeah. It was a beautiful moment.
I mean, we saw him like shatter glass with a touch, so he had to be very careful with her. Then, obviously.
Well, yeah, of course. It was just so sweet how gentle he was, and he just had that song of like, "Here I am." It was a lovely song.
Course, yeah, it was great.
I loved the song. I actually want Songs to the Siren, I think it's called, and I listen to it every day. I don't listen to it every day, but I listen to it every now and again.
Yeah.
I literally do listen to it quite a lot because I think it's a beautiful song. But yeah, that happens, and then he just like Iris is like, "What?" And then Barry obviously speeds away back into the pet shop, and he's just sat.
Happened, yeah.
Exactly, he's just sat with these dogs, with the hot dog, and after this big explosion, all these dogs are just like chill, having a good time with Barry, and he's just so cocky and so certain he'll get the job because obviously he's incredible, and it's just like, so I start Monday.
Exactly.
Perfect.
And he gives the sausage to one of the dogs, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. It was amazing, and this scene was just perfect. Like you said, a perfect introduction to Barry Allen as a character.
Yeah, could not have done it any more right.
You really couldn't have. Like, he was late at the beginning. He was smart. He was clever. He was nervous. He was falling in love with this woman at first sight. Iris West. And then he was just cocky at the end. And that's Barry Allen in a freaking nutshell. And I loved it.
Where was this in the first film? Come on.
Where was this in the Justice League? Thank you. And now, because of that, Ezra Miller is my favourite rendition of The Flash.
Fair enough, yeah.
Because of that scene. And obviously the rest of the stuff. But like, that scene was just amazing.
Yeah, it was like, oh, thank God it's done well.
Absolutely.
Where does that lead on to then?
Yeah, so Steppenwolf goes and he finds an Atlantean. And he's trying to get trying to find out where the next Mother Box is. And he uses this like device that like exports memories, I guess, and shows
it was just
memories.
Really weird, wasn't it? Almost like a head crab, but smaller, from like Half-Life or something.
It was weird, right? And he's like, I will never betray my people or whatever. He's like, you already have.
Exactly. It was like, well, great job.
Which is quite cool. And then now he has the location for the next Mother Box.
Exactly. It's like, well, still only like 1/3 through the film, and he already knows where two of them. Well, he has one. He knows where the next one is.
Yeah, and that creates a problem. But before anything happens after that, Bruce and Diana are thinking about where their next team are. Bruce has a ping on Barry Allen. He knows where Barry Allen is, and Diana is trying to figure out where Victor is. And they're off gone their separate ways to figure it out. And then you go to Victor, Cyborg.
And this is his character intro, wasn't it, pretty much?
It basically was. And again, beautiful character intro. And you see him remembering a football game he had when his life was normal, when he was a normal person. And he, at this moment, he is in grief for his mother, obviously, but he's also in grief of his body.
Of course, yeah.
He's, in his eyes, he's a monster. He is not himself. He is something different. And he doesn't know how to deal with it. So he's looking back when he was happy, when he was his whole self, to a football game. And it was beautifully shot.
It was done really well, yeah.
It was very well choreographed and it was very well done. And if football was actually like that, I would freaking watch it. Like, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was like beautiful, like side-sweeping slow motion, just watching him run through like all the waves of defense and that.
Yeah, it was amazing.
American football, that is.
Yeah, it was. And it's just the life he wishes he still had, and it was great. And then he went to like the principal's office or whatever. To at school, and he's like to Victor's mother. He's like, "Your son's at the top of his class, captain of the football team, but he can't be doing the thing he did, which was basically he hacked into the school system to change his friend's grade, which could be seen as a bad thing. But it's what his mother says next of like, his friend recently lost his parents or something like that.
Yeah, it was something like that, and like can't focus on like their grade and that.
Yeah, how could he possibly get good grades after that?
Yeah, then she was like, well, he's doing more than you did.
Yeah.
She says something along the same lines of that. Yeah.
Which was really like, it just shows that Victor is a good person. He wants to help people, which is basically the foundations of being a hero.
Exactly, he had it in his core,
which was great. And it just shows that Victor is a good person. I love that a lot.
Does it now flip back to the end of the football game?
Yes, so then it goes back to the end of the football game, like you said.
Yeah.
And they won. Victor's team won. Thank God. And you see his mother celebrating, and it was so adorable. But then Victor looks to his mum's left or right, and there's an empty seat. Obviously, his father isn't there. He's got a very absent father, and he's obviously disappointed, and it kind of takes away the magic of the moment.
Yeah, he's too like, obviously you see all his like teammates around celebrating, and he's just there looking up sad, wishing for his like dad to be there. Yeah, but he's probably too busy with work or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously, I mean, his mum kind of realizes that as well, and they go in the car and they're just talking about his father. He's busy or whatever, and he can't be there all the time. And obviously, Victor's very upset, and his mother's upset. And that's when the accident happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I know where this is going before. Like,
yeah,
it's a bit like, I mean, coarse, but it's still like sad regardless.
Of course. And yeah, so and obviously he goes to the father, and his mother's dead. And the doctor or nurse says, probably a nurse, says that your son won't live either.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, oof, imagine being told that.
Yeah, I could not imagine. But his father cannot let him die.
No,
he's going to do everything in his power. He's lost too much, yeah. He's going to do everything in his power to keep him alive. So he takes him. Yeah, and he basically makes him into this cyborg.
Yeah, I mean, we see his remains like on a wall almost before all the like robotics and that. We're like, Jesus, there is not much left of him, is there?
Yeah, it's like just his head and his like top torso.
Yeah, it's rough.
It's tough, man. It is rough.
I wonder how he got the body like from the hospital.
I don't know. He probably made some deals.
Yeah.
But yeah, and at this point now, Victor blames his father for his mother's death.
Yeah, because obviously they were not arguing as such, but they were distracted because of it, weren't they?
Yeah, which is tough. And then you get this thing where he won't talk to his father, but he listens to this audio thing that his father makes, right?
Yeah. It's almost like the user manual for your new body.
Yeah. So his father tells him all about his abilities you can do. So he can fly. He has these weapons. He's basically a supercomputer that can hack into anything in mere seconds.
Yeah, I did not realize how powerful he was until that scene. You could see like all like, the missiles like just almost ready to be launched. Then you just put them to a side. It's like, I won't launch them all off.
It's a good thing. I like that about him. He doesn't want to start World War III.
Yeah, of course. He's the right person to have it, to be fair.
And he has a challenge now. The fact that he can do anything he wants. He can see anything he wants. And his father says, like, your biggest challenge will be not doing, but his biggest challenge will be to not do anything and to not see. It'll be a decision will determine who you want to be.
Exactly,
which was really nice.
And there's also the scene where he's like watching this like mother with a child like go through her life, and then she's like really low on money, and then obviously he just like gives her money basically through his hacking ability almost, which was like a really cool graphic, like how it worked, and that of him literally just expanding the stack of money.
It was really nice. Like suddenly she had like 100,000 in her bank.
Yeah,
or something
exactly.
Like that. Yeah, that was really nice.
Again, showing that he's a nice person. He has like
absolutely.
He's good morals in that.
Yeah. And then it goes back into the real world where he's like, all right. So, and his father's saying on the audio thing, saying, all right, I've spoken to you as a scientist. Now I'm going to speak to you as a father. And at that moment, Victor crushes the device. And he doesn't want to think of him as a father. That's what that means.
Exactly, yeah. He just wanted to know about his new, what he can do, and that basically, that's all he really cares about.
Yes, he doesn't want him to be a father. He doesn't want to have that father figure in his life anymore. Because he blames him for his mother's death.
Of course,
and he's always absent. And that's basically how that ends. And then you go to the complete contrast of that with Barry going to the prison, which I'm guessing is like Iron Heights prison or something.
Yeah,
like the comics. And his father is obviously there. And if you know anything about the Flash and Barry Allen's story, basically at a young age, his mother died, and his father went to prison for her murder even though his father did not commit it.
Yeah, exactly. We know Flash's origin story in that.
Not everyone does, Jake.
That's very true. It's just, to be fair, it's a pretty like niche origin story. I guess if you haven't really seen the TV show, then you wouldn't really know, I guess.
Or read any Flash comic.
That's true, yeah.
But it's a story I love, to be fair. And obviously Henry Allen's there, and he asks Barry not to see him anymore. He wants Barry to move on with his life, and wants him to make his own future.
Yeah, because Barry's trying to get into like crime school, like lawyery stuff, isn't he? To try and disprove.
Become a CI.
I see. Yeah, to become a CI. Yeah, because he wanted to disprove his father's.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and obviously his dad obviously just wants him, as you said, to do his own thing. He doesn't want to be hung up on him anymore.
And it's quite an interesting thing here of the two characters. You have Victor, who doesn't want anything to do with his father, because of the reasons. And then you have Henry Allen, Barry's father, who doesn't necessarily, he wants to be with his son, but for the good of his son, he doesn't want to be with his son, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's complete juxtaposition, isn't it, between the two scenes?
And it was very well done having them both next to each other. And you had Henry and Barry having both their hands on the glass, which is a very nice Flash moment. Like, you have that in the show, you have that in the comics all the time. I love that.
Yeah, it's like almost like it's classic Flash scene almost. Between that connection between father and son almost.
And I love that scene. Brought a tear to my eye. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And then you had Barry going off. He's going to his Flash hideout where he does his work.
Yes, I do like this. Yeah.
And turns his lights on, and Bruce Wayne is sat there. And Bruce is like, Barry Allen, Bruce Wayne. And Barry's like, you say that like you explains why there's a complete stranger sitting in my second favourite chair. Or whatever.
That's so like his character to say something like that. That's great.
Absolutely. I loved it. And Bruce is like, this is you, right? The guy in the shop. And, you know, talking about his suit and how this material is the same one they use on the space station, stop it burning up or whatever, or space shuttle. And Barry's just like, nope, not me. It's like some other person that looks like me, but definitely is not me.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, come on, of course you have the suit there.
It's brilliant. And then Bruce throws a batarang at him.
I do like this scene, yeah.
It was really cool, and Barry's like looking at it like, what the fuck? Basically.
Then it's like a, oh wait moment, isn't it?
Yeah, he's like, oh, okay, so you're the Batman. He catches it, and he's like, you're the Batman? And he's like, I'm Bruce is like, I'm forming a team, and he's like, so right there, yep, I'll do it.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
I
really need some friends, yeah.
It was great. It was so good. I love that moment. And Barry's on board. Let's go.
Oh, yeah, definitely like the easiest to get on board.
Of course. He was basically a teenage kid.
Yeah, literally.
Young adult. Is great. I love it. But yeah, no, this is where I put my notes. When I was writing my notes, I completely forgot Alfred's name. Right. And I was just like, having a mental breakdown and like, oh my god, what's his name? So in this note, I just wrote, Bruce's butler is working on protective things for Bruce.
I mean, well, before they get to the Batcave or his hideout or whatever, obviously they go in the definitely not product placement Mercedes.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot about that.
Yeah. And that's when he asks, oh, what's your superpower? And he's like, I'm rich.
Oh yeah, that was funny. Yeah. Love that. Sick car. It was a really cool vehicle. Really cool car. It was. And obviously I go zoom off. And then after that
just to interject. No, absolutely. But when they're driving away, you see the American Suicide Prevention Foundation or something billboard.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you noticed that, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's quite sad. That's a nice touch. It was obviously Zack Snyder's daughter in that, yeah.
Of course, and that's quite nice. I'll notice that next time.
Next time.
Yeah, I'm watching it again. I might watch it this weekend, to be fair.
Fair enough. Not much else you can do at the moment.
Oh, yeah. Edit this podcast.
Very true.
But, yeah, so after that, you go down and Bruce's butler, Alfred, is working on some protective, like, I guess, wrist armbands?
Just some, like,
things?
Some arm
Plating.
Plating.
For Bruce. That's basically going to protect him from any energy things. Which explains so much, because this scene wasn't in... it wasn't in the original. So when, like, later... Superman is like firing his laser eyes on Bruce's gauntlet, and it doesn't burn up. It's so confusing because, like, for not Batman's usual armor, that should just go straight through.
Of course, yeah, it would have been melted.
Yeah. So now you have this scene. It makes it, make sense, and be a thing it should have. But yes. But you're working on that. And then. Is that when he makes the cup of tea?
I think it is, yeah.
Which I thought was a hilarious scene. You just have Diana be making a tea, and Alfred is like, make sure you put the water in, leave that to mash, yes. Just so
telling how to do it, yeah, it's brilliant.
It's so funny, and there's definitely a thing of, like, just mansplaining there.
Yeah, I do like Alfred, though.
It was funny, and just like kind of British thing of making sure the tea is right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, got to do it correctly, otherwise,
of course,
might as well not do it at all.
And he gets so offended that she doesn't do it right sometimes, which I think is hilarious. But he makes a tea, and then later he makes his own tea. Because Diana's like, "Do you want a tea?" And he's like, "Oh no, it's fine." And then later, literally a minute later, when like Diana's doing something else, Alfred is there in the background making tea.
That's brilliant. I didn't even notice that, to be honest.
Which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. After that, Diana goes to the computer and is like trying to find Victor, and then she gets a message to like meet up here or whatever.
Yeah, she didn't find Victor. Victor found them.
Basically, yeah. Victor. Yes. So basically set him a meeting space.
Yeah.
Victor then goes to his mother's grave. And he has the mother box, and he buries it there, trying to hide it, which is quite nice.
I mean, hey, it's a good place to bury something like that, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it would be. And then he just flies off. And then it cuts to a parademon at the apartment where Victor and his dad live, I'm presuming, and it takes Victor's dad.
Yeah, and you're like, scientist.
Oh dear. Yes, oh dear indeed. Yeah. I feel like I missed a scene, but it's okay.
I mean, yeah, Diana and Victor spoke, but it didn't really lead to anything, did it?
Oh yeah, of course it did. I completely missed that. Yeah, so they spoke, and Victor isn't kind of accepting himself. He just doesn't. He just wants to shut away and hide, basically.
Yeah, he's. I mean, but then it also like, then why did he set up the meeting then? If he just wants to hide away and not be bothered,
probably just to stop Diana trying to find him.
That's true. Yeah,
I think that's kind of what it was. So yeah, after that, then you go to the mother box in Atlantis, and it's now awoken, and Steppenwolf appears and tries to take it, and then you have Amber Heard.
Oh dear, with a like British accent for some reason.
Yeah, what is up with that? I don't understand. Instantly, I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
you're already a shit actor. Why are you making it even worse for yourself by doing a terrible English accent? I did not understand.
Do you think Zack Snyder just said that to mess with her almost?
I don't know. I can't imagine it was like a Zack Snyder thing to do. I think Amber Heard is just that bad of an actor that she was like, you know what? I'm going to do an accent, even though I don't need to. And it was a terrible accent.
Yeah, it was like, oh, okay, that was a bit unnecessary.
Yeah, thank you, Amber Heard. You've ruined 2 people's lives now. Yeah, and then they have a big fight, and Arthur's there and saves Amber. Thanks, Arthur, for saving Mira. For God's sake.
So, I mean, to be fair, I like the scene where she like pulled all the moisture out of Steppenwolf's face. That I thought was quite cool.
That was interesting. Anyway, the fight basically ends with Steppenwolf taking the mother box and leaving.
Yeah, quite easily.
Very easily. Not much of a competition compared to Namaskara and the Amazons.
Yeah, not even halfway through the film, and he already has 2/3 of them.
Yeah, 2/3 of the mother boxes, and then he just teleports away. And then for the final scene of this part, you have Victor, and he's out of the apartment, and he finds out his father's been taken.
Yeah, and he's like,
and it's,
"Welp."
It's this moment that I feel like he realizes now that his father's a more value to him than he thinks.
Yeah, because obviously he's like, actually, this is quite a big deal.
Yeah, and it's then that he's persuaded to help the team, to help the Justice League, and help them out with what's happening.
Yeah, he realizes at that point it is quite a big deal, and he's like, well, maybe she was right.
Yeah. And then it cuts to part 4, Change Machine.
Yes, yeah. About halfway through now.
About that, yeah. First scene here, you have the Justice League, or the team. They're not really called the Justice League, are they?
No, did that name come up at all?
I don't think so.
No.
It wasn't really on the nose like it was in the original. Oh my god. There's a really bad line in the original where they were like, they basically said like, we're a League of Justice, some shit like that.
Right, very on the nose, like, yeah, we get it.
it was bad. It'd have been like if like in the first Avengers they were like, yeah, we're gonna go avenge some people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so team meets up with Gordon. And he's got some info on the people that have been kidnapped, and where they may be, basically. And including where Victor's dad may be. And obviously all the team are there now, including Barry, including Victor, Diana, and Bruce.
Yeah, this is when they all fully come to, well, not fully, but this is when they, those guys sort of start to properly work, and that we see for the first time.
Which was nice. It was pretty cool. And then they all go off. They're all off, and they're all going to this place, wherever they are, under the river.
Yeah, it's like a tunnel somewhere, isn't it? Yeah.
Under the Gotham Lake, I think it might be.
Oh, yeah.
And the team basically go to save the people that have been kidnapped, including Victor's dad. And it's their first mission as a team.
Yeah, I thought that was... Oh, actually, Aquaman isn't there, isn't he?
Oh, yes. No, he's not. Arthur isn't there yet. That's right.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's their first mission as a team, the 4 of them. And they're all going in stealthily, you know, like assassins.
Hell yeah. Doing very well so far.
They're doing pretty well. No one's noticed them. And then suddenly, Victor's dad steps up and is like, and Steppenwolf smells the scent of a mother box on him and starts extracting the information. And at this point, Victor very impulsively jumps in to save his dad.
Yeah, it's like the Jake method of stealth. It's like, hey, something bad happened. You know what? I'm just gonna blow my cover.
I'm just gonna go in with the boys.
Exactly.
But the fact that he impulsively does it and doesn't even think about it shows that he cares for his father.
He does deep down, yeah.
You know, it shows that he thinks of him as a father still. And at that point, there's no going back. They all engage.
God, no.
They all fight the parademons. They all fight Steppenwolf. And it's a really cool fight sequence.
It is, yeah.
It was really nice.
Choreographed and everything.
It was. They got all the kidnapped people out, and then the Barry comes back in, and it was a really cool slow-mo shot of him like running down the thing and like pointing the sword back to.
I did love
Diana.
That, like running around the outside, like the tunnel almost.
Yeah, that was cool. And basically, at one point, Victor, I felt like at this point, Victor admits that he is, he needs his father still, and that's why he saved him. That's really nice.
He's finally almost admitted it to himself.
Yeah, and anyway, they all, you know, fighting, and they all kind of starting to escape, and they're all in this pipe. and Steppenwolf is there, and they're attacking. And suddenly they blast the side of the pipe. Steppenwolf
like,
teleports
oops.
away, and it's flooding in. And they're like, "Oh no, what are we gonna do?" And what you see in the water?
You see a face of a man. He's staring back at you. Who is it? The one and only Aquaman.
Arthur Curry.
Hell yeah.
And he holds back the water. He's like, "You shall not pass!" Basically, that's what he should have said. He holds the water back, and he's part of the team now. His Atlanteans, he's got the trident now as well, which is really cool.
Hell yeah, he's there.
That's what you've noticed. He's taken up the mantle. He's got the trident. He's holding it back. He's joined the team. And they all escape, which is nice and cool and stuff. So yeah.
Pretty well, really, I guess.
I think
no
it
civilian
did.
Casualties, yeah.
It's a good moment for them, a good
It was a
win,
cool
good
scene.
fat W.
Yeah.
And then you cut back to Steppenwolf, and he's there at the mother boxes, and they show him something.
What do they show him?
They show him a vision. They show
The
him
vision.
the vision on the markings of the Earth, the anti-life equation. The very thing that Darkseid is after has been on Earth all along. It's here.
What a coincidence, yeah.
Which, if you don't know, is this big thing in DC lore, is the anti-life equation. It's what Darkseid is after. It basically grants the ability to control sentient life, essentially.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
It's like all the Infinity Stones, like, version of DC.
No, but okay.
I mean, it sounds like Big Boss needs a big powerful weapon.
Sure.
At the fundamentals, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Steppenwolf is talking to Desaad, and he's like, "I found the anti-life equation."
Desaad, that's his name.
And then he disappears, and suddenly all the parademons like kneel down, and Darkseid appears. And then obviously Steppenwolf is like, his servant, and he removes his armor and he kneels down. And he tells Steppenwolf to complete the unity so he can come to Earth and take the anti-life equation. And basically confirms his plot, which is nice.
Exactly, yeah. It's like, oh, well, there we go.
That's what's happening. That's basically that. Steppenwolf is honoured to have, Darkseid to make his appearance.
Definitely, he's like, it's almost like Steppenwolf's of like his chance to redeem himself for betraying them.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And then he goes back to the team, all of them now, all 5, and they're at. Oh, they come. Yeah, so they all come in. Do they all come into the Batcave for the first time at this point? I think.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure.
So,
because you have Barry, and he's like, "Oh, this is so cool, man."
Yeah, it's classic, like teenage almost, like excitement and energy. Yeah.
And you can tell that Victor is hype about it as well. He's just a bit more on the down low. He's a bit more chill about it. And then you have Arthur who's like, "This is cool. This is cool." And Diana's obviously seen it. And Bruce, it's Bruce's shit.
Yeah, of course.
And he's like, Bruce introduces them to Alfred, and he's like, "This is my boss, Alfred."
Yeah, I love
which
that
had
scene.
me.
Yeah.
Oh, great moment. It's so true. Alfred does do everything. He fucking cares for him. It was great. And Victor, then they're all like plotting what to do next. And Victor tells the team what happened to the box. He tells them that he comes from the mother box, and he tells them what the mother box does. They are
this
basically
was really important. Yeah,
because I really didn't know what mother boxes were before this.
no, it was almost like great, strange, mysterious space boxes.
Yes,
Like,
very scientific.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if in the first. I mean, they must have shown right in the first Justice League that Cyborg came from a mother box almost.
You'd think, right? I mean, we
Yeah.
definitely knew that from Batman versus Superman, but like, I didn't know what they were. You know, like they're
very
change machines. They're change machines, which, we all know this like first law of thermodynamics, where no particle is destroyed or created, it's always transferred or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So a house, when it's burnt down, doesn't disappear. Those particles turn into particles of smoke, right? A mother box.
It's just in its different form.
Yeah, a mother box is a change machine. It can turn those particles of smoke back into particles of house, which is cool. It's a really cool idea. I like that a lot.
It's a good analogy. I really liked it. Yeah,
it was a good analogy. I like that. And they're all like standing around, and Barry's like, "All right, I don't want to say it. I know we're all thinking it, but I don't want to say it."
Exactly.
And Victor just creates this projection of Superman, which was really cool.
I liked that.
I loved it. I had chills.
Yeah, it reminds me of obviously kind of very loosely, but in like Star Wars: A New Hope, when R2-D2 was like, oh god, what is it? It's that projection of Princess Leia saying, "Oh, we need your help, Obi-Wan Kenobi."
Yeah. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
That's the one. Yeah.
Cool as always. And yeah, I had chills when you had that cape flying back, and like Superman, it was awesome.
Yeah, you can see
really
that
cool.
Flying up and that. Yeah.
It was cool. Chills. I thought that'd be the end of the part, but then it continued.
Yeah. I thought it'd been good to end it there.
Yeah. And then you went to Lois's apartment again, and she's, she's grieving more. She's going through Clark's things, and Martha knocks on the door.
That really confused me then.
Yeah, I don't know why I did that. But Martha visits Lois. I put Martha in my notes in mark in asterisk. What are they called?
Quotation marks.
Quotation marks.
Yeah.
It's like Martha, visits Lois, and basically Martha wants her to get back into the world. She doesn't like seeing Lois being here, not going to work anymore, going back to the memorial every day, grieving, still going through this process.
Yeah, stuck in the same cycle almost, never going to break out.
Yeah, that's it. And Martha basically wants her to get on with her life and, continue with it. And Lois says a line that fucking crushed me. She says, "I will never love anyone in the way I love your son." That was
yeah, it was like
that was tough.
Yeah,
that was tough. It's true. I mean, a lot of people say you only get one love in life, one true love, and when that's gone, it's gone. And exactly. Lois thinks she's had hers, and Lois has had hers. Like Clark is her one love, and it's sad that that's gone now. And she really truly believes she'll never get it back, which in a way she might not. But she still needs to move on with her life,
Of course, yeah.
And Martha just says, "Come back to the living." And then she goes. And she goes out of the room. And you think that's it. And I thought that would be it.
A completely normal scene, yeah.
And then her eyes glow red, and I freaked out because I knew what that meant. And suddenly it pans around, and she transformed into the fucking Martian Manhunter.
Martian Manhunter, what a weird name.
I was done. I was like so hyped. I was like, oh my god, I did not know who was going to be in this film. Like, it's Justice League. Of course Martian Manhunter is in it. This is incredible. And then he transformed into the guy. The soldier guy. From Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman.
Right, yes. Yeah.
It was Martian Manhunter from the beginning.
It was him all along.
Which was really cool. And it begs the question, like, why didn't he get involved in Batman vs. Superman and Man of Steel?
Literally. And also in this film as well.
And also in this film. 3 major world-ending events. He just didn't bother, but okay. I guess, yeah. There's a thing of, like, not wanting to get outed, I guess.
That's true.
Which definitely is a conflict he has in comics, so... Yeah, but Martian Manhunter, very, very cool.
He is, yeah.
He's a big part of the Justice League. He's usually the big leader of the Justice League who creates it. You never watched the Justice League cartoon?
No, I don't think I have.
Man, your childhood. Sad time. But anyway, there's one thing here that I have a problem with.
Go on, what's your problem?
The fact that he isn't Martha it takes something away from the scene.
Yeah, because it's like obviously obviously he said all that stuff about like to Lewis and that, and it kind of I don't know. I bet like if she found out, she'd almost feel betrayed.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
you made
weird.
me feel all this stuff and that, but yeah. But why
It's
would
really
the Martian
weird.
Manhunter want Lewis to come back to living?
Well, he obviously has his plan. He's a smart cookie. He might know about the whole thing with Barry and like Lois is the key from Batman vs Superman.
Yeah.
And it could be something to do with that, and so it makes sense. But like I feel like the fact that it isn't Martha, it just takes something away from it. It takes away that like mother-daughter vibe it had.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like loving Clark Kent, but in different ways.
Yeah. And that's just, it was a shame. But it was still cool that it's a Martian Manhunter. But yeah. And then it went to the team talking about how they're going to bring back Clark. And basically they're going to activate the mother box. The problem with this is by doing that, the enemy will then see it.
Yeah, it's like high risk, high reward.
Yeah. And the reason they kind of figure this out, and the reason they think they need to activate the mother box, is that the box was afraid of Superman. The box is never activated until Superman was around. That's why they need him. That's why they need Superman.
For him to disappear or die.
Exactly. And then Bruce says, there are 6, not 5. There is no us without him. Great line.
Yeah.
And so true. You know? That'd be like having the Avengers without Captain America.
Exactly.
You know, or Tony Stark.
They will have their own role to play.
Exactly. They're all very important. All 6 of them. And yeah, great line. And then that's the end of part 4.
Indeed. And then
which is
part 5.
You know, when I'm watching, it's the best place to have a good 5-10 minute break.
Yeah, because it's like the halfway point almost.
Yeah, that's where I took my breaks. Yeah. And then you went on to part 5, which is called All the King's Horses.
Yes, yeah.
Which is nice. And you're basically just ready to go into the ship and bring back Superman, bring back Clark. And Barry's just talking about how Superman is his hero. He's
how he
person's
idolizes him.
Yeah. And I feel like he looks to him as a father figure in a way, as someone to look up to, considering his father isn't there. Like, he looks up to Henry, of course, but he isn't there because he's in prison.
Exactly.
So I think, he just looks to Superman as an idol of something he wants to be.
God, I can't speak. He wants to have his same like morale and his same like ethics and what he does and why he does it almost.
Yeah, absolutely, which is really cool. Yeah, and they're all just kind of thinking about it, about what's happening, and like, is this the right thing or not?
They're well, you can tell they're very conflicted.
They are. That some of them are feeling guilty. A couple of them are like, "Yes, this is what we need to do. This is fine." And then there's a few people just unsure, and it's true. Like, they're bringing back someone from the dead.
Yeah,
that's
God
tough.
knows how they're going to react. Like, are they going to remember what happened, or they could be like terrorized almost and scarred after being dead for so long?
Well, yeah, and that's kind of what happened in the end. But
that's very true.
They go to the Kryptonian ship to bring Clark back. But before you see that, Lois is ready to go back to work. Yeah. She is coming out of the grieving process. She is on the right track, and she's going back to the Daily Planet to try and work. And you see her get her badge. But what's in the drawer, Jake?
What's in the drawer?
What's in the drawer as she gets her badge out?
A pregnancy test.
A pregnancy test. Indeed.
Teasing. Like, quickly think. I must think.
Did you know what it was, or did you guess?
No, I knew what it was. Yeah, it came back to me. Yeah. I mean, it was pretty obvious. It was like underneath the badge and that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was like, so is Lois pregnant?
Like a very clickbaity title.
Lois, I feel like Lois is pregnant. Like, as a filmmaker, you wouldn't put that in there unless she's pregnant.
Of course, yeah, exactly.
You
I
know?
mean, why would you include a detail so
exactly.
obvious and not have a reason for it?
So that's even more tough because she knows she's pregnant with Clark's child, and Clark's dead.
Exactly. He's gonna be like, "Where's Dad?" It's like, well, he's dead.
Well, yeah, it's going through. So that's even more, adding even more to the grief and mourning, really. But then Lois gets her coffee and she goes to the memorial one last time. Gives her coffee to the police officer. And yeah, visits the memorial. And I think that's quite a nice. It was nice that I feel like before Clark came back, you had Lois finally on the right path to getting back out in the world, and I think we needed to see that.
Yeah, it's a nice conclusion almost to that end of her period of her life almost.
Shows she is still strong.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you go back to the ship. They're not quite in the ship yet. I think they kind of trying to get to it, right?
Yeah, they Cyborg creates like a false alarm, doesn't he, to get everyone out.
That's right. Yeah.
Be like false alien contaminant breach or whatever.
And obviously his Victor's dad's like, it's false alarm. And then he sees them and he's like, no, never mind, all good. Yeah, you wait. I love that.
And then
funny.
Cyborg nodded to his dad as he walked past and everything, didn't he?
The classic nod.
Yeah, exactly. Like, cheers.
I love that. No one does that in real life, but it's in like every movie. Nod.
Everyone knows what it means though. It's great. Yeah.
I love it. It's my favorite thing. It's great. I've had to do it before. But yeah. So then they get into the ship, and they're obviously still having their different thoughts on what to do. But they're getting in position. Yeah, they're still arguing about it. They're still like, is this the right thing to do, or isn't it?
Yeah, they're going to do it regardless now they're there.
Well, yeah, they have to now. But yeah. And Victor is in position. Barry runs back, ready to run and give the charge to Victor. Victor touches the mother box, and he sees a vision. He sees a vision
The vision again?
He sees a vision of what will happen. The world being destroyed. Darkseid coming and taking over the world and forming unity. Diana is dead. Atlanteans are being killed, including Mira. Thank God.
Oh, no.
Superman. Yeah. Superman is an enemy. And that's... And Victor suddenly gets doubts. He's like, no! And then Barry's like, is that it? Is that yes?
I think he said go or something, yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, he goes and he runs. And he runs and runs and runs. And then you get something that kind of sets up the end. And it kind of gives a bit of meaning towards the end.
Yeah, exactly.
He starts to turn time back a little bit when he does run, which is really cool.
The way they ignore the physics of that and everything, but...
it's the way they do... time travel in this is really nice. Instead of going through, because I mean, the thing is, Barry taps into the Speed Force, which is like this fictional energy source, right? That is basically a bend of time and space, which is why he can run fast, right?
Exactly.
It's not him.
He can run
he's
fast
not going
at the speed of light. Yeah.
He doesn't run fast because he's running fast. He runs fast because he's bending time.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Which makes perfect sense from why his perspective is so slow.
Exactly, and that's one thing I love about it.
Because obviously, if he was just running fast, then time around him would be traveling at the same rate to him.
Would it? Oh, well, at his point of view, not really.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But yeah, so he starts to turn time back, only slightly, but he turns it back.
If I could turn back time. Yeah, he does.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Alright,
that's enough for today.
That's enough, okay then. And big boom. Clark, Superman, Kal-El flies up and he's just there in the air. And everyone's a bit confused. But he's...
The mother box lands on top of a car, doesn't it?
It does. Victor's dad sees it, and Superman is just there, and he's seemingly emotionless, like nothing is there.
He looks lost almost, doesn't he? He's confused.
Yes. My theory is that it's Kal-El.
Who is Kal-El?
Kal-El is his Kryptonian name.
Right, that makes sense.
So
that's why Diana kept calling him
Kal-El.
Yeah.
So Kal-El rises first, but because he was sent away from Krypton as a baby, he never grew up as a Kryptonian.
No, not at all.
So Kal-El is this emotionless thing. Kal-El doesn't exist. What does exist is Clark Kent, because Clark Kent is his human side. It's who, he grew up on Earth with human family.
Yeah, it's him. It's him. Yeah.
He's a human at heart, right? But for now, he's just this Kryptonian who doesn't know what's what, and
he's almost lost in this strange world.
And obviously, the team come down, and Victor's auto defense system kicks in and starts attacking Superman. Starts attacking him.
Yeah.
And
maybe that's because the Mother Box is scared of Superman. So obviously, because he's mostly Mother Box and he's created from the Mother Box, it's almost like an extension of it. So maybe that's why it started to automatically try and attack him, because they were scared of him.
You know what? I think that's it.
It makes sense.
I didn't think about it like that, but yeah, I reckon that's it. That's cool. That makes perfect sense. And then obviously Superman does the first thing that anyone would do, is he just starts fighting back.
Of course, if somebody's trying to attack you, yeah.
He just fights back because that's what he has to do to protect himself. And you have them fighting the team, and it's all very cool, and bits
classic
happen.
Yeah, scene.
My favourite moment is when Superman has them all grabbed, and Barry just runs past, and he's running, and he just sees Superman's head just turn. That is that is horrible.
It is really creepy almost, yeah. Especially for Barry, I bet he's like, my God, I've never seen anybody react to that way that fast.
Yeah, and Barry would have never seen that before. Someone going so fast compared to him. It was freaking sick, though. And eventually, the fight goes on and on and on. But eventually, Lois runs forward, and Clark sees her. Superman sees her, and I think that's what brings Clark back.
Exactly.
Is seeing his love. And it was beautiful.
And then they fly away together. Yeah.
They do. They fly off, and they go probably back to Kansas.
All the way over there, yeah.
Yeah. And then you go back to Chernobyl. And Steppenwolf has the last Mother Box.
It's like, welp, it's now or never.
Yeah, oh sorry, so they're not at Chernobyl yet. He just takes the last Mother Box. But before he does...
I was about to say, I missed out.
Victor's dad is in the whole room with the laser thing.
Because obviously Victor's dad took it, didn't he? After it landed on the car.
He did. And Victor comes in, he sees, and Victor's dad sacrifices himself to not destroy the box, but this laser makes it the hottest thing on the planet.
Yeah, its core is very, very warm.
So it basically is trackable from anywhere. Yeah, so he puts a trace on it. Yeah, absolutely. So he sacrificed himself so the team can now track it and find where Steppenwolf is. And this moment for me is a really nice cyclic narration of the football game where his father was absent, was not there, to now here where his father, right at the end, is here for his son.
Exactly, yeah. It was a very sad scene, but also quite conclusive and quite, I don't know, as you said, like cyclical narrative. It
was lovely, actually. And obviously, Victor is devastated. His
I mean, he
father
would
just
be.
died. Obviously.
In like a really brutal way. It looked like he kind of just
Oh.
dissolved.
It was horrible. I was not expecting that. I was so shocked when he started just like evaporating.
Yeah, I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then Steppenwolf takes the box. And at first glance, like, you think, oh, it's a waste. You know?
Yeah,
was
of
like,
course,
oh,
like,
what's the
oh wait,
point?
it's still there.
Yeah. Because you just think he's trying to destroy it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But yeah. And then, obviously, Victor's like, as my dad's died or whatever. And everyone's like, oh my god, no. And that's the end of part 5.
Exactly, yeah, really sad, isn't it?
It was a sad ending. And then you go to part 6. Something darker.
Ooh, dun dun dun.
Opens up quite nice with Clark going, of course, his first instinct is going back to his family farm where he grew up. His home. He went to his home with his home. Who's Lois? You know? Lois is his home. Now. And then
It's a
Clark...
shame they don't own the farm anymore.
Yeah. Clark remembers his home, his childhood, as well, and I love that lasting shot on his like the childhood swing. I love that moment.
Yeah.
But you had this. They go to his bedroom, and obviously, Lois. Sorry, I forgot her name. Has the ring on, and Clark's like, I guess that's a yes then or something.
Yes,
that's really nice.
That's when it's like, you remembered.
Yeah, and that's when Clark is back. Clark's back, Superman's back, and let's go. But yeah, and then you go back to the team after that, and they're obviously Victor's mourning, obviously, but the team are plotting an attack on Steppenwolf's base.
Yeah, I mean, they realised obviously that they can track the mother box and everything.
Absolutely, and how to stop the Unity, and they obviously find the weakness in the defenses, which is quite a big weakness. Let's be honest.
Yeah, just take out the big tower.
Didn't really think that one through, did
No.
you, Steppenwolf? Oh well. And Victor's ready to sacrifice himself. He's saying, "I got nothing left."
Which is fair, yeah.
Yeah. And then you have the best line in the film. I think it's Bruce that says it. He's like, I don't care how many demons he's fought in. I don't care how many demons he's fought in, how many hells. He's never fought us. Not
Yes,
us,
yeah.
united. Beautiful. Oh, the chills. It was really, really nice.
So many good lines, yeah.
Absolutely. And then that cuts off there. And they're ready to attack Steppenwolf. And then it goes into the scene where the engagement ring thing with Lois and Clark.
Oh, was it after that? Yeah.
Yeah, it was after this. They were in the field, I forgot. And Lois is like, Lois is like, do you have to go back? Kind of like she wants to be with him. And Clark is like, I've been brought back for a reason.
Oh, of course,
you know?
yeah.
I have a second chance, Lo. I'm not going to waste it.
Imagine that if he was like, I'm going to stay here with you, and then everyone dies.
It's almost like Clark's redemption for the events of Man of Steel.
Yeah, of course.
Which is quite nice. And then Martha shows up, and it's the Martha and Clark's redemption, and it's reunion, sorry, and it was beautiful.
It was nice. It was really nice.
Yeah. And then you have a quick scene with Bruce remembering his dream from Batman vs Superman with Barry and the Flash going, Lois Lane is the key, and trying to figure out what that means.
Yeah, very peculiar, very strange.
It is, and there's definitely something there that's going on, but we don't know quite yet what it is. And then you go back to Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf has all 3 mother boxes. The Unity has begun. They've started to form the Unity.
Yeah, they're in the deep end now.
They are. It's the end game. But the team is here. They are ready to attack. Clark. Sorry. Wait. Oh shit! I'm gonna mix up my things. Sorry. Clark first goes to a ship, the Kryptonian ship.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, I forgot about that too.
You hear beautiful of him walking down the corridor, seeing all the suits, and you hear Jor-El, his father, his birth father, and Jonathan, his adopted father, the person who actually raised him, telling him he has a duty, telling him you will do great things on Earth, telling him you have something to keep, you can save people. And it was really nice them both echoing off each other and having the same message. And then he takes the black healing suit.
He does, yeah, the classic black suit.
Which obviously is because, in the comics it's a healing suit to absorb more solar radiation.
Which makes
so
sense.
He has more power.
Yeah.
It does. And then you have Fly Sun this time. And he goes up, arms spread like fucking Jesus, and he's soaking in that radiation. And it's great.
Classic scene where he flies and you can just see the horizon of the Earth. Yeah.
Ugh, beautiful shot.
Very
but
similar.
here it is. Finally. Time to fight. And ready for the battle ahead. And
the big final battle.
Yeah, and it's really, really well done battle. There's not much to talk about here, but the music, the action, cutting between the different heroes was really done really well.
Yeah, and then there was that one scene where they all came together almost, wasn't it, for that slow motion second?
Of course, it was great. Wonder Woman actually flied in that moment. Because she doesn't fly often, but it's fine. And they're all, you have different things. You have Victor, he's trying to get to the mother box so he can tap in. You have Barry running around, building up his internal energy and speed so he can charge the mother box and Victor. And Bruce is kind of taking out all the parademons to try and stop them shooting at Barry.
Yeah.
And then you have...
It's a great section, really.
It is. And then you have Diana and Arthur in the center with Victor tring to stop Steppenwolf, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, that is right, yes.
Which is
Batman's
really
on the
nice.
outside almost.
Yeah. And they're ready. They're ready. Victor is tapped into the boxes. And he's ready to go. Barry is running. He is running.
He's ready, yeah.
He is ready. And then suddenly Steppenwolf drags Victor back, and they're back to fighting.
Yes.
And then what happens then? Just as Victor's about to be hit with the axe,
I love this. Yeah.
Superman, and he zooms in, and the axe just hits him on the shoulder like nothing happened.
Donk.
Literally a donk. Superman turns to his right onto the axe and just goes. Freeze breath. For the first time in the DCEU, we see Superman using his freeze breath, and he just uses it ices up, and he just goes pew, and it crushes.
It's perfect.
We just see that pure power that Superman has, and it was awesome. And he beats up Steppenwolf. He does him in. And everything's going great. And Victor's hooked up to the mother boxes. He's ready to go.
Yeah. Here it
Barry
comes.
is running around, about to run in, and then suddenly Barry gets hit.
Yeah, typical.
And he's like, I'm fine, I'm just winded, I'm just fine. And he's got this fucking big chunk out of his flesh.
I was like, oh, he's only winded. Then it panned down, didn't it? I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's pretty bad, actually.
Yeah. And then obviously, he's waiting. He can't run right now.
Of course, you wouldn't be able to, yeah.
And Victor's like, come on, Barry, come on. It's about to go. And then Barry's almost healed because he obviously has rapid healing.
Yeah.
Almost healed. a portal opens up. You see Darkseid ready to attack when the Unity is complete. Barry is there, still healing, and then suddenly, vroom, Unity is complete.
Yeah,
that's it.
This is the end.
They've lost. Boom! Suddenly, everything around them crumbles. Their flesh gets ripped off their body.
It's brutal, yeah.
The Unity is complete. The world is now going to be transformed into Darkseid's world. And it goes past Barry, and suddenly Barry vibrates, and he starts going into his super speed to avoid the shockwave. And he's going so fast that he can avoid it. And he starts running. He starts running.
He says a line like, "Oh, I've just got to break my one rule" or something, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's what he's at. He's like, he starts running. He's like, I got to go faster than I've ever been. I got to go speed of light. Just got to break the rule, Barry. Just got to break the rule. And he's running, and it's beautiful shot of like everything turning back and where he steps and everything like that. And one of my favorite lines in the whole film is he speaking to his father, and he's like,
"Yes,
I just want you to know, father, dad, or whatever he says. I was one of them, Dad, the best of the best." And it was just beautiful.
It was really sweet. Yeah, it's
like,
almost like him coming to terms with his own his own place almost.
His own place in the world and in the team. It was. Oh, I can't. Tears in my eyes. I was like, it was so perfect. And it was like, come on, I gotta go. And all the lines he said, you just got to do the past and in the future and the present, or whatever he was saying, and just manipulating the time. It was perfect.
It was really good, yeah.
And then you had everything turn back. You had obviously all the building coming back and Superman coming back and
his flesh slowly, like you see his eyeball pop back in.
It was cool, to be fair.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, Victor, Barry makes contact with Victor, and then Victor gets pushed into the Unity. And like they said the Unity would try and stop Victor from accessing it, and that's exactly what it did.
Yeah, with those three creepy like corpses, it almost looked like, wasn't it?
Well, he sees his parents.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah.
He sees his parents, and he sees himself how he used to be. It's like the mother box is tricking him. It's like they're showing him his ideal life. But
almost trying to get him to give in almost and give up.
Yeah, but Victor's not taking it. He has accepted himself. And Victor suddenly changes from, because he stood there in his footballer outfit, his old life, how he used to be, and then suddenly it goes back to him, and now he's cyborg. In that moment, he's accepted who he is. He understands that he can still have a fulfilling life. He can still have a full life. And that was amazing. And he says, "I'm not broken, and I'm not alone." And then it cuts him separating the Unity, and he's like, "Superman!" And they're pulling it apart.
Helps it pull it apart, yeah.
And it is apart, and it was brilliant. And they've done it. They saved the day.
Such a good scene.
Oh yes, they fight Steppenwolf. They finish him off, and they basically killed him. But Diana doesn't take no chances.
No, God, no, yeah.
She goes for the fucking head.
Straight decapitation. Yeah, I really like that scene because it's almost like each superhero played a part in killing him. Like obviously Aquaman. Well, Superman punched him. Aquaman then skewered him. Then, as you said, Diana decapitated him.
Yes, they all had them three did that, and then Flash and Victor separated the Unity. It was great.
Yeah,
it was really great. Yeah, and they finish him off, and then you just see this incredible shot of looking through the portal with Darkseid, and then just seeing the Justice League there, which is straight out of the comics, by the way.
That makes sense, yeah.
But it was awesome to see that in live action. And yeah, the protectors of Earth are still here. You know?
Don't come back just yet.
Not just yet. And then obviously it goes to more setup with Darkseid saying, I'm just going to use the old ways. Not really sure what that is, but...
After, like, crushing Steppenwolf's head.
Yeah, oh god, yeah. But for now, the team have won. And it cuts onto that last shot of the team, which was really nice.
Brilliant, yeah. And the end, apart from...
Epilogue. A father twice over.
Yeah.
After all that...
Hang on, I think it was just called The Epilogue, wasn't it? Was one of the
it was
chapters?
it was called Epilogue, A Father Twice Over.
Oh, of course it did, yeah.
And then you have Victor. And after all of that, he has accepted his father. He lost his father and now he wants him back. So he fixes the audio device from earlier and he listens to it.
Yeah,
and
he kind of sucks it all back together almost.
Yeah, and he's ready to listen to his father's message. Not the scientist, his father's message. Yeah, so that was really nice. I actually think I got the... Wait, hold on. Yes, and he accepts his father and is now content with his life. He's content with who he is. And that was really cool.
Yeah, just after he died.
Yeah. Nice. And then you had the Atom becoming the director of nanotechnologies. Bit on the nose. Nano, Atom, getting smaller. Which was nice. I like that, though. That's setting up for the Atom film that's never happening.
What could have been, yeah.
And what could have been. A lot of his film is what could have been.
Literally.
And then it goes to the Wayne Manor, which is being repurposed to become the Hall of Justice. And he's like, you have Bruce and you have Diana and Alfred, and he's like, we'll have a round table right there, 6 chairs right there. And Diana's like, but room for more.
Exactly. And I was like, nice.
Absolutely incredible. Yeah, that's gonna be really nice if they were doing more Justice League films. But yeah, they've got the Hall of Justice, and it just begs the question, like, you know, when you start the film, they have the CG thing with all the DC characters.
Oh yeah.
Look how many characters there are,
That's
and look how many characters are introduced.
Literally, there was like a whole screen of them. There, like there was at least 30 there.
Absolutely, like we have now in the DCEU, we have Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, the Flash, and Cyborg. We have Martian Manhunter. We have Shazam.
Shazam.
And like that's it for
Literally,
heroes.
It's a bit like, what are you waiting for, guys? Just introduce more.
Yeah, I guess they have set up for Atom.
That's true. Yeah.
But they haven't got people like Hawkgirl, who's a big part of the Justice League, Stargirl, Green Lantern.
I know. I still can't believe they haven't made like a good, like a new Green Lantern film yet.
Yeah, what's up with that? Like, where are they coming? But yeah. After that, you have Barry back to meet his father, and he's saying,
I forgot about this scene.
Great scene, really cool scene. He's got something to say to his father. Barry has got a job. His foot's in the door.
His foot's in the door. Yeah.
Great moment. His father's obviously so happy. He's finally getting on with his life.
Yeah, he's like, that's my son.
Yeah, I love it. He's just proud of him, and I love that about
it's really
Henry
sweet.
Allen. Is he's always just proud of his son. And yeah, and then it goes to the prison, where Lex Luthor, Arkham Asylum, where Lex Luthor is, and the guard's like, Luthor, get out. And it's not Luthor. It's this guy. He just
at first I was like,
there.
wait a second, that's not Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah, it was weird, right?
Mm.
It's just this guy laughing, and it goes to this like beautiful boat, and Luthor's escaped,
He sat there
and
in his suit with his champagne.
yeah, and he's forming alliances. He is forming friends, I guess, in a way. And who do we have? None other than Slade Wilson, Deathstroke himself.
Yeah,
and
I thought it was Deathstroke, yes.
Which was just awesome. And obviously, Luther and him are going to be working together. And he gives something to Slade. Something incredibly important and useful for him. Gives him Batman's name. 2 words, yeah. Batman's name. Bruce Wayne. That's going to have some problems in the future.
Literally. It's like, Batman's old anyway. He's had his time.
Yeah. But that'll be interesting. I have to say, I feel like Luther's character here was so much better than in Batman vs. Superman.
Yeah.
It felt a lot more like Lex Luthor. I really liked it.
Yeah, Jesse Eisenberg
really cool.
plays the perfect Lex Luthor almost.
I'd say it's different. It's not Lex Luthor from the comics. It's so different.
That's fair, yeah.
But I like his take on it. I really do like his take on it.
That almost kind of like smart but like witty almost, but almost like slightly nerdy almost. A
lot of people would disagree with what we're saying right now. But I like it. I think it's interesting. I think as he's getting older, in a way, he's becoming more like that Lex Luthor who is very methodical. He knows exactly what's happening. He's thought out. He's becoming more like that, which is cool.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
And then you go to the Apocalypse world. It's back.
Yeah, at first I was like, wait.
The Apocalypse world is back. And you have Bruce. He's there with Victor, Barry, Mira, and Slade, which is interesting. A couple of people.
Like a really random mix.
Yeah, I would not expect Slade to be there for one. And they're just talking. And then you hear a ha 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 ha, whatever the fuck it is.
Great impression.
Thank you. He does this weird laugh. I can't do that in person.
It's like really like out of breath laugh, isn't it?
It's odd. It's cool though. It's unnerving, and that's what I really like about it.
Yeah.
Is it made me uncomfortable listening to it. But who is it?
Who do you think it is?
I don't know. Tell me.
One and only Joker.
Ooh, I did not know that. We have the Joker. And he looks really cool.
It's very different, yeah.
His costume's amazing. Like, has all the sheriff badges, like the police badges on him.
Yeah, I did notice that, yeah.
Really nice touch. And here we finally see Jared Leto's Joker done justice. It was incredible. I loved this scene so much. It was amazing. Obviously, just Joker talking to Bruce about, Bruce killing him and being like, in the future, I will kill you, Joker.
Strip dropping an F-bomb as well.
He is like, and I will fucking kill you. But
that really spun me for a loop. I was like, wow, I did not kind of expect that. It sounded so weird coming from Batman.
Yeah. There was an F word earlier in the film.
Was there?
Yeah, I think it was Victor. He said it.
Yeah.
There's a couple lines in there like, why you sent a boy wonder to do a man's job. It was such a cool line.
He had a good monologue there, didn't he?
It was a really cool monologue. Obviously, that boy wonder that's talking about Robin.
I was going to say adopted. That's what I was going to mention actually. Like you mentioned adopted boy and like, Robin. And almost like linking back to potentially being Joker, which is what you told me actually.
I think it is. A lot of people disagree, but I really do think that it's Jason Todd. From that monologue, it just seems so obvious that it is. And I don't know what it is. The fact that he's saying, like, it feels like he's talking about himself when he says things like, why you sent a boy wonder to do a man's job, and talking about a son.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's talking about himself.
That's what made me think when I saw it as well.
Great fucking scene. I loved it so much. And then he obviously wakes up out of the Apocalypse world and he's just in bed. And
Oh, there was also one thing Joker said as well, being like,
go on.
oh, she was the key, you let her die in your arms and that.
Oh yes, talking about Lois.
Again, Lois, yeah.
That more key of Lois, which is just weird. Like, obviously, this is like some weird distant future thing. Lois is the key. Don't know what for. And obviously Lois's death is probably what causes Superman to become this villain that we see at the end.
Yeah,
because they're obviously trying to get Superman and find him because he's a villain now, I guess.
Yeah. And we actually do see him, don't we? Just like a very brief
we do,
glimpse
yes.
of him.
Which is very interesting. And then obviously Bruce wakes up and a figure is flying down. I thought it was Superman at first.
Yeah.
But you get closer and it's Martian Manhunter, and he's like, Bruce, I'm gonna help you if you want. Just call me. Some people call me the Martian Manhunter.
Yeah,
that was great.
That's pretty straightforward, I guess. Like, well, I guess I'll call him then.
Yeah. That was really cool. I loved that moment. And then it pans off and credits roll.
Yeah, and well, that's all, folks.
That was the end of the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. 4 hours later, and it was amazing.
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed it.
Like, obviously, this is just a little breakdown of the Snyder cut of through scene by scene. Now we're just going to talk about it, I think, overall and a bit more generally.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I'm going to lead and say this is my favourite comic book movie of all time.
Yes. Go on, do you want to explain yourself? Why is it beaten Endgame?
Everything about it for me is perfect. Okay? The pacing was amazing. I never felt bored. I never felt like, oh, I've got an hour left. I was like, I had 10 minutes left and I was like, I want another hour of this. You know? The pacing was done amazingly, where it went from like these emotional scenes to action to emotional scenes to like grief to family to the action scene. It was just done amazingly. The soundtrack and music was incredible, from the Barry saving Iris scene to the Aquaman stuff to the fight scenes. The music was incredible. The characters, every single character was done justice, and Ezra Miller is now my favorite Flash. Ben Affleck is now my favorite Batman / Bruce Wayne. Henry Cavill is now my favorite Clark Kent and Superman. They're all my favorite characters now because they're all just done incredibly. They made Cyborg a character I could not care less about. I didn't care about at all. Now a character I want to see more of, and a character I really like now, and I think is probably up there in one of my favorite characters. They made a character I hated. I hated Ezra Miller's Flash Barry Allen in the original Justice League.
I remember you saying, yeah. I mean, we hardly got any like backstory to.
We didn't get any. I didn't get any of it, and now it was done justice, and now Ezra Miller's Barry Allen is just my favourite. And I think it's gonna... yeah, I loved it.
Just want to see more, yeah.
I just want to see more. The points in this thing, the thing this film tackles with grief, with guilt, with the history, with the idea of heroes, the age of heroes... everything with those different themes I really liked, and I really resonated with them. And even the romanticness of it, there was this, with especially with Barry and Iris and Lois and Clark, there was, and even Bruce and Diana, there was this romanticness of it.
Yeah, there was definitely something between them, especially obviously early on in the film when it was just them two.
It was more sexual tension, I'd say, but it was it was definitely there. Had everything. This film had everything, and I would watch this film again over Endgame.
Fair enough, yeah. I mean, I think Endgame was good because of the hype it accumulated behind it.
Yes.
Like, I mean, it wasn't a bad film. It was definitely a good film, but as like everyone was just so starved of like, we want to know what happens next sort of thing. And
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it was hyped up a lot more. Whereas Zack Snyder's Justice League wasn't really. I mean, it was hyped up, but obviously not as much as like Endgame was. So for it to like pull ahead of Endgame without as much hype, it really shows how good of a film it is.
If you're a big DCEU fan, this was like your Endgame, right?
That's very
so
true.
Like,
though.
I know Eddie, like this was his Endgame, right? Like, he was hyped for Endgame, and of course, and he loved it. But like, this was he had the same reaction to the Snyder Cut that I had with Endgame. You know what I mean? It was like this big thing I was waiting for. And I love Endgame, don't get me wrong. I think it's an incredible movie, and I'll still love it to death. I don't think it's the best MCU, but it's still incredible. But I like the style of Snyder Cut, and it's so different from any other comic book movie, and I just love that about it, that it's Zack Snyder's vision. He didn't go down the conventional route of a comic book movie. He did his own thing. I mean, it's in 4:3 ratio. It's the color's quite unsaturated. You know, the music is very different from something you'd expect from a comic book movie. The characterization's very different. The action's very cool. Everything's so different.
It's
and
great.
It really sticks to me in a way.
Yeah, there's this saying I really like, which is like, if you take the same path as everyone else, you'll always you will never end up in a new place or something.
Facts, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, damn, yeah, it makes sense.
That's true.
The 4:3 ratio is brilliant. I mean, it almost made the film feel more personal. Because obviously everything was so much like tightly packed, and it felt like
I actually agree.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not limiting at all. If anything, it's more I don't know, it focuses on one small thing. It really broadens the view almost.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
After a while, you forget it's even there, and you just kind of get completely absorbed in it.
Yeah, it was quite funny because I watched it with my parents on the weekend, and about 5 minutes in, my dad was like, "Can we not change like the aspect ratio or anything?"
That's really funny.
Like, "Can we change with the black borders?" I was like, "Dad, it's not how TVs work."
No, you can't unless you want like a really stretched image.
Yeah, right. It was funny though. Also, bless my parents. They're not like me. They don't really analyze films. After we watched it, they were like, I was like, "Well, what do you think?" And they both went at the same time. Oh yeah, it was good. And I was like,
nice.
Okay.
That's like the me reaction to a film. Yeah, it was good.
But I'm like, oh, it was quite funny though.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was your overall thoughts?
I really enjoyed it. I mean, it was definitely not the conventional comic book movie, because I've seen like loads of comic book movies. They all kind of feel the same, you know. But to me, Justice League was it was almost like a breath of fresh air. As you said, it was different. It was quite refreshing and new. So I really enjoyed that kind of aspect of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much my view on it.
Do you have a favourite scene?
Favourite scene? Oh God. It's either between the one at the end with obviously Barry Allen going fast in the speed of light, rewinding time, or it might actually be at the very start when Wonder Woman blocks all those bullets from those children. I really enjoyed that scene.
Oh yeah, fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. I think you probably know what mine one is.
Go on, tell it. Oh, is it the Iris saving?
It's the Barry saving Iris one. I can't get over how perfect that scene was. It just was a perfect scene, and then it's the end scene when Barry ran and turned back time for the Unity.
Yeah, I mean, who didn't love that scene with all like the blue Speed Force slow motion goodness?
It was great. Yeah, we actually got an interesting comment here from Super Dan on the Discord.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the comments. Yeah, I'm actually on Discord now, so I can see it.
So Super Dan says, "What do you guys think of the Aya cut and the whole restore the Snyderverse stuff?" Now, I'm going to say, what do you think about not talking about that here and then talking about it on the next podcast episode?
Yeah, sure, I'll be down for that. I'm not really fully... Because obviously I keep seeing hashtag restore the Snyderverse trending on Twitter, but I actually don't know what it's about. Is it almost to do like all the new DC films as like Zack Snyder's vision? Is that what it is?
So basically, Zack Snyder had a trilogy of Justice League films planned.
Right, I see.
And people are petitioning and wanting that to become a thing because Warner Brothers don't want to do it.
I see.
So everyone's saying restore the Snyderverse. Aya cut is the
Aya cut.
The Aya cut of the Suicide Squad film.
I see.
That released years ago. But newsflash, even if the Aya cut came out, it'd still be shit. Okay? But yeah, I think that'd be a really interesting topic on the next Random Wavelengths podcast.
I'd be down for that, yeah.
So I think we'll add that to that list. Thanks for the comment though, Super Dan. It definitely gave me an idea for a topic on the next podcast. And I'll probably do a thing on the Discord to like get some people to put their thoughts in on it. Because that would be interesting.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. It's always nice to see what the community has to say.
Exactly. But yeah, something quite cool about this film is that Zack Snyder funded it all.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I did see that. Which
is just like Warner Brothers had nothing to lose because Zack Snyder did it out of his own pocket and his own fundraising. And that just shows that it was a vision to him and it's something he needed to do and write his story and tell his story. And I'm so glad he did.
Oh, I think every DC fan is, let's be real.
Oh, absolutely.
It's his legacy almost, isn't it now?
We owe it to Zack Snyder because he had so much to lose here. He could have lost so much,
He didn't make a profit off the film, didn't he?
No, he didn't.
No, it's almost like you can keep the money and just do the whole rest of your trilogy.
Oh yeah,
just let him Warner Brothers.
I know. Well, yeah.
We'll see.
Anyway, with that, I think we've had a good old chat here.
Definitely, yeah. We've really broken this film down to its core.
I mean, I'm trying to think. I don't think there's anything I've wanted to say. If there is, I'll remember it in about an hour, and I'll be like, "Oh fuck."
Got to write it down for the podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, we can always talk about it next podcast. Which was But this has been a great time. I've really enjoyed chatting with you. To be honest, Jay.
Yeah. I mean, it's helped me understand the film more as well. Like hearing a very in-depth analysis of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I've been dying to talk about this since it came out, properly, full analysis. So I'm so glad we managed to do this.
Yeah, and it's all recorded for you to listen back to and be like, hell yeah.
Exactly. So that'd be great. I get to edit this tomorrow. Yay.
Render it for the next 3 days.
Yeah. Oh no, I've got a bro now. I've got someone who I just send the file to and he renders it in about 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, nice.
So Joe, thank you for that. Thanks for doing that for me. I'm sure he'll be happy to do it again. But yeah, this has been the first episode of Random Reviews, the show where we just review the latest and greatest movies, TVs, and video games. If you like this podcast, we'll do more. And we'll continue this series because I really like doing this. And I like dedicating a whole podcast to a thing.
As I said, it's nice for people as well who don't want to hear about the Justice League film for 2.5 hours.
Exactly. I mean, it's been a long one. It's been 2 hours and 25
Honestly,
minutes.
I didn't realize it would go on for this long, yeah.
Nor did I, but it did. But yes, thank you all for watching or listening. If you're new, be sure to subscribe and like. It helps us a lot. We're still trying to grow our channel. We're trying to get to 150 by the end of whatever this month is, April. So we'll get there for sure.
April the 1st today. Look at that.
It's almost as if I didn't do an April Fool's video.
Yes, I watched that. It was brilliant.
Did you watch it?
I did.
Good.
The way you spoke about grass for 10 minutes.
Honestly, when I was recording it, I was trying not to laugh. It was so funny.
Brilliant.
Anyway, did you find the Easter egg?
The Easter egg?
Oh, there's one frame, there's an Easter egg.
Really?
Yes. I'm not telling you where it is.
Maybe I have to go back.
I'm not telling anyone where it is.
No. Who'll be the first one to find it?
That's the thing. Anyway, if you want, come join our Discord server. The link is in the description. Here we can just have a good chat. You can write in topics and questions for the podcast. And also vote for the games I stream. So come join.
Good days.
It's a great place to hang out. And and then check out the stuff on our channel and follow me on Twitch, because we've started streaming on Twitch now. So follow on that so we can get to affiliate pretty quickly. We're almost there, so that'll be really nice. And then we make epic money. But anyway, thank you all for listening to episode 1 of Random Reviews. This has been our breakdown and review of the Zack Snyder's Justice League. And thanks, Jake, for joining me.
No, thank you for speaking about it and enlightening me.
Absolutely. Thank you all. Goodbye.
See you later.